voices on the camera.
What? I'm so good!
He's now all on silence in a 1v4. He takes 2. Down goes both. Can he stay alive? He downs another 1v1 on the Kento, and he wins it!
Clutch this round out for IF. He gets 2. That's the defeat. That's huge. Mikey, no social
my
on the drop. Where Subarctic is sprinting around desperately, and we're going to overtime.
Oh my God! Ashen! It's high noon. There's the 1v2 and 5-1-1/2 for Surf.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the final day of quarterfinals, Jonah, before we have semis tomorrow and, of course, grand final Sunday. We got 2 more games to get through, the first of which is Chess Club versus the Wichita Wolves.
Yes, our third quarterfinal of the playoffs. This one should be pretty good, of course. Just in the last couple of days, we've finished up our deciders. We've rolled through our first few quarterfinals, and they've been mostly as exciting as they've promised, but a couple of them maybe left a little bit to be desired. Namely, a couple of those games yesterday, a couple of those maps, right? Karn & Co. just could not hang in there with Wichita Wolves Academy. And, of course, West Garfield, a great series against Dallas Vendetta. That is for sure. Started off the day with a back and forth series that ended up going all 3 maps, but Dallas Vendetta taking it home at the end.
Yeah, they're looking really good to make grand finals. Of course, they go up against the winner of Chess Club and Wichita Wolves, if I'm not mistaken, because I think the winner of One Shot versus Mystic
Correct.
goes against Wichita Wolves Academy. So, yeah, Dallas Vendetta in prime position to make the grand finals. And, of course, if Wichita Wolves Academy is their opponent, that means Dallas Vendetta will qualify, for Pro-Am as that, whether they win or not, which could be exciting. But, like I said, we got this game to get through first. So Chess Club versus Wichita Wolves, I feel, is going to be a very interesting one because Chess Club, it's a gunner team. They're doing well. They're aggressive. But Wichita Wolves have had some struggles with getting Reed kind of back into the mix.
Right, Reed, of course, the coach initially of this roster, but had to step in, and Jay, when Jay was absent, Reed stepped in, and now that Call Out is absent, he is, moved on to coaching the Astralis roster. Reed has also been required to step up. Here's your bracket. You can take a look at where we're sitting. As Harrison mentioned a moment ago, Chess Club Wichita Wolves, the winner ends up going against a fierce looking Dallas Vendetta. And on the other side of the bracket, our second series of the night and our final quarterfinal will be One Shot versus Team Mystic. That'll certainly be an underdog story for Team Mystic. The winner of that series, however, will go against Wichita Wolves Academy, our current champions of that first split of SCS, and a team that has been constantly improving week after week. So a terrifying prospect, whoever faces them next. You can take a look at our leaderboards though and see, who these players are that are really working their way to the top of these leaderboards. And namely, in terms of rating, you've got Quartz at the top, Newers on Dallas Vendetta, in that second spot. But just looking at this big picture, it is One Shot and it is Dallas Vendetta at the top of almost every category.
Yeah, of course, with some Chess Club and Wichita Wolves Academy members sneaking their way in here and there. But the big takeaway is that it's just those 4 teams. Just these 4. There's other teams that haven't been knocked out of the playoffs just yet, but they are surprisingly absent from our leaderboards. Quartz not only having the highest rating, but the highest cost. And look, he's tied with Storms for cost, and Slippery is right behind them. You even got Kilo peeking in at 68%. Newers has been a name that has been on the tips of our tongue the entire time Dallas Vendetta has been competing. Not only is he second in rating, he's got a 72% cost, is right behind Giddy in terms of entry, and this is his first season with a Challenger League squad. If he keeps performing like this, I imagine he'll do big things when it's time for CL. Plenty of Wichita Wolves Academy members sneaking their way, and we saw Gunner and Snake in the top 2 for rating, who, of course, we'll see competing in just a bit.
Well, as much as, this is a team game and we're going to talk a lot about the team composition, as far as these two rosters we've got in front of us go, they've had some individual issues here and there. And Harrison, I'll give it to you to start off with our first roster, but there are some individual things that need to be worked out today.
Yeah, concerning Chess Club, there may be less than there is Wichita Wolves, considering they have not dropped a map. They have not even reached overtime in any of their games. I believe their first series was 7-3, 7-3. Their second against Gasher's Goons 7-5, 7-5. And something that strikes me as surprising about both these games is that both the map ban phases actually went exactly the same. They were both Coastline, Villa, and Oregon. Of course, Oregon not being needed. So a big question for me is whether or not Chess Club, Doc Bills, Mr. B Snake, and Gunner can win that map ban phase yet again if Wichita Wolves are going to allow them to go to those same maps.
Well, Wichita Wolves, their goal here tonight is going to be to really become the first team to really issue a challenge towards Chess Club. Like you said, Chess Club out there clean those series in rather clean fashion. Wichita Wolves, it's going to be up to them to give Chess Club a real fight, maybe take them to that decider map. Of course, this is the roster, as we've said, of Reed, Freak, Mohesi, Barring, and Jay. And they've had more time for Reed to get acclimated with this roster. And as we've seen in the past few weeks, Redemption against Aerial Arise, having lost to them earlier in the group stage, only to then win that decider match against the very same opponent. They are improving every single week. However, one thing they've yet to really work out is that entry game, and that's why we're highlighting it here with that second critical point. Barring himself has been phenomenal on entry. He's plus 11 overall, but everyone else on the roster, no one has managed to go positive in the entry department. Reed is even naturally playing, that hard support, but Freak and Mo, these gunners who we normally expect to be frying people when they walk in the building, whether that on the, defensive or attacking side, they are both negative in terms of the entry. Jay is as well. This entire team needs to step up behind Barring right now because, as we've already said, Chess Club is a fierce team to go up against, and so you need to be firing on all cylinders, and entry, given that that's where Wichita Wolves have struggled in the past, it's going to be very important tonight.
Especially Gunner and Snake, who are those top 2 rated players. And speaking of, here's our player comparison between Gunner and Mo. And you can already see the discrepancy between two of the fraggers on their teams. Gunner, 1.23 rating, plus 16, 61% cost, as well as a positive survival rate and a positive entry. We hadn't discussed that before, but like you said, Mo is negative on that entry. Unfortunately, playing people like Buck, Legion, less so on the defense, but a lot of times we'll see Mo pick up operators, like Omai, operators that you really want to survive towards the end of that round, and you don't want to be losing people like the Buck early on. He, is positive in rating, 1.05 only just. He's only plus 7 on the KD. He does have a higher cost, but again, only not by very much. So Gunner definitely, having the advantage in our little player comparison here. And Chess Club as a whole, while maybe they play a little individualistic, have looked better than most of the teams we have in our season.
We'll go ahead and take a look at the maps and hopefully get some clarity on exactly where these gunners will be able to gun right off the bat. And although I do like the Cafe and Villa ban from both of these teams, we've actually got the classic and often dreaded Oregon and Clubhouse combo as our 2 maps that we are guaranteed to see. Wichita Wolves, they will select Oregon, which I've got to admit is a little bit surprising, given that most recently they actually just lost this map to Aerial Arise. They beat Nocturnes on Oregon, lost it to Aerial Arise in the series that they eventually took 2-1. So interesting to see that they'll head back to this territory. On the other hand, Chess Club going to Clubhouse isn't too much of a shocker. They've played Villa twice and won it twice. They've played Coastline twice and won it twice. They just want to mix it up. They don't want to give Wichita Wolves the advantage of having, 4 maps of VOD review already under their belts.
Yeah, I mean, that's the big point, right? Chess Club have not played any of these maps yet. I mean, Oregon was left up as the decider for both their series, so, despite not needing to go there, they were still willing to play it. And while Wichita Wolves' most recent Oregon, yes, it was a loss to Aerial Arise, so was Chalet. Back in the first game of our stage, when the initial game against Aerial Arise, they lost it 7-3 to Aerial, and that's our decider map. If we go there, I mean, we're already saying Chess Club winning is, what the majority of us think. We have a 60-40 split, which, I mean, that's not terrible. That's nearly even, but still, I just feel like with this map ban phase, there's Chess Club either win in 2 or they win in 3. I don't think Wichita are taking this.
I think I'm going to stick with my Wichita Wolves prediction here, even after we see the bans, but I will say that it doesn't feel like a series that Wichita win in 2. If this does go 3 maps, I think that is where Wichita could take this one, but it does feel a little bit unlikely for this to be, a clean 2-0 for the Wolves. But, I mean, never count this team out. Everyone was dogging on them last week, and they went into that decider map against Aerial Arise, and they held their own. They put up some pretty good numbers, and to do it, right after you lose call out, you stick Reed in that position, that's a big ask. And they still managed to get it done. This team, clearly they know how to adapt and they know how to work through, a variety of different adverse situations that get thrown at them. But I will agree that this is going to be their toughest challenge yet.
Yeah, and of course, as soon as all the players are ready, we can load into Oregon. Not our favorite map. We're just waiting for one more member of Wichita Wolves. I think it is Barring. That's what we're waiting for. The entry star for this team, who I know they will sorely miss against a team like Chess Club. But Oregon are a team that Chess Club, Gunner's teams have always played in the past, and they've been pretty good on it. If we remember Team Mystic from last stage, not this Mystic. This Mystic was two-faced. The other Mystic with Gunner and Sweater and them before they disbanded, they were a pretty decent Oregon team. It's a map that you can rat around in with, which Chess Club love to do. And again, my concern goes out to the fact that Wichita Wolves, their most recent showing on this map was not favorable at all. They didn't look great. And I mean, especially with Chess Club, picking the attack to start off with, I don't know if it's like something that they know that we don't, but it's certainly interesting.
Yeah, it is. It's a little bit surprising as well that Wichita Wolves agreed with them in terms of attacking side being better, because in overtime, they also went to select that attacker side. So maybe the teams know something that we don't. I just, took a look at our stats here to see if that can give us any clarity on the situation. And it turns out that in the 2 times we've seen Wichita play Oregon, they actually do have a positive attacking win rate and negative defensive win rate. So 66% attacking win rate, 30% defensive win rate here. So at least the way they've played this in the past against the opponents they've played this map against, that being both Nocturnes and Aerial Arise, they have found more success on the attack. That includes an 80% attacking win rate on the dorm site. So clearly they know what they're doing upstairs. And maybe that is in part why Chess Club opted for the attack here. They don't want to deal with however strong that Wichita Wolves attack may be, or simply they just feel that they have some strong attacks as well. I suppose we'll get a chance to look at that now, because we are headed into our operator bans.
Yeah, and of course, Oregon bans tend to be pretty static. Sometimes we see Thatcher Mav, sometimes it's Thatcher and Hard Breacher like Hibana. Very rarely do we see something like a Nomad or a Ying. That's usually a target ban, but I imagine Wichita Wolves will stay pretty standard. And yeah, the first ban will go ahead and be that Thatcher. Now it's up to Chess Club to decide, do they want to take out Maverick it's actually a Maverick ban first. Incorrect. Chess Club will go ahead and ban the Thatcher. We can see a Thatcher Maverick ban, which is sometimes on the board, and then it'll come true. So that kind of leaves it up to Chess Club now. Do they take out Cade? They take out someone else, risk Wichita Wolves keeping it, because with a Thatcher Maverick ban, Cade is nearly impossible to deal with. He becomes very difficult, but no, Chess Club end up taking Valkyrie and leave it up to Wichita Wolves, who, mind you, are starting on the defense if they want Cade up or not.
Right, they could ban the Cade or they could ban the Mira. That's kind of this battle they're going to have to find themselves in, and it turns out they'll go with the Electro Claw wielding operator of the Kaid. So we do have the Mira in play, and that's something that this attacking side of Chess Club, they're going to have to work their way through, and it is certainly not going to be easy to get that done. But the fact that those Electro Claws are off the board should give a little bit of calm over to the sense of Chess Club. They won't have to worry about any sort of hatch denial when it comes to that basement site. Without the Maverick, like you said, Harrison, without the Thatcher, you're in for a hell of a tough time when it comes to opening up those hatches if you don't actually take the Cade off the board. Looks like that happens anyway. So the Wolves here, as we've said, starting out on defense rather than starting in the basement, as I've already hinted at, they're going to actually start on this top floor.
And top floor, while Wichita Wolves have an incredible attacking win rate on, it hasn't necessarily translated over to the defense as well. Chess Club bringing out both Hibana and Ace, curiously enough. Usually Thermite is a little bit more important than the Ace on a map like this, but maybe, you know, Chess Club being an aggressive team want the higher fragging ability of that AK-12. They've also got probably Gunner and Snake, I imagine, on the entry. Maybe Bill's joining them as well, though. You know, he's going to have to sit back and use his drones effectively in this round. Twitch being a bit of an odd pick. Goyo is up, though, and so is Mira, so understandable that they want to take it just in case Wichita Wolves bring out that Mira. You know, Twitch can also use her taser to blow up those Goyo shields. And it seems like Wichita Wolves are extending all the way through Trophy into Armory as well. They've got Goyo shield set up in Trophy, along with some utility denial, a jammer in Armory with a player station there, as well as downstairs. Jay playing under for the C4. So it's a lot from Wichita Wolves spread out. Hopefully it's not too thin.
A very creative setup, and opening up the closet wall into Master is always a bold move, and often, you know, can put you in a very troubling spot. But Wichita Wolves, they want to take these early fights and don't even want to worry about what comes later in the round. 2 awesome opening picks, opening duels for the Wolves. That is going to claim 2 kills going their way. Bills is gone, the Twitch we've already talked about. You lose Gunner, your Finka, and those are 2 tremendous losses that are really going to hit Chess Club at home. What they have to do now is find some way to bring this one back. And Snake is going to immediately repel into Armory, trying to get this done as soon as possible. Mr. B will be supporting from Master, but Reed will actually go to reinforce Closet off completely to, you know, given that they have this advantage already, they say, you know what, we've got a 5v3. We don't have to worry about extending over this top floor as much as we've already done so. Let's kind of bring things back a little bit closer to the site. Let's play a little bit more passive, and I like that decision making from them, because now Chess Club, they're forced to do all the work themselves.
Yeah, I like the decision from the Wichita Wolves. Additionally, you know, knowing that they've taken out the Finka, that is the only set of nades that Chess Club are employing. I mean, Snake has a couple at his disposal, but there's a lot of utility from the defense still to cut through, and they only have one source of burn. That's going to be Mr. B. Additionally, you know, falling back makes it so that you're not giving Chess Club any opportunities. Really playing close to the chest, ensuring that, you know, there's going to be crosses held, there's going to be trades within distance, and Mr. B, the Goyo shield pops next to him, and he is extremely lit up, down to just 1 bullet's worth of HP. Luckily, he's not the one with the case. That's Doc, but Doc is alone inside Attic. As Mr. B makes his entrance, Barring will take him out, but Snake answers with a refrag. Doc, the next to find a kill on Freak. C4 is replaced down below. Mo takes out 1, can't find the second, and the C4 will miss as no one's actually in the site for it to capitalize on. Doc may get rezzed here by Snake. They do have a yellow ping because of that BP, and Jay just swings around with the shotgun. 1 pump Snake, and although it was close, it was a good recovery by Chess Club in that mid-round. Wichita Wolves still end up with the point.
A risky decision there by Jay in the end. I mean, it turned into a 1v1, and it could have been a 1v2 any moment. He knew that he needed to position himself somewhat in order to deny the res, because that res could have certainly sealed the round and sealed the fate of the Wolves in that case. But instead of, you know, playing for the sound cue of the res, he just took the fight, which is a bold move in a situation like that. Hey, but it worked for him. And so Wichita Wolves will take the first round. Strong start, terrible mid-round, but they ended up closing it out in the end. Probably a little bit closer than they wanted to, given the advantage that they had secured at the beginning. And so maybe they'll look back on that and work on some of those mid-round to late-round adjustments next time. But my eye is already looking forward here onto round number 2, because interestingly enough, we are going to see a tertiary bomb site as Wichita Wolves' second choice, going straight to kitchen and meeting and foregoing the basement site completely for now. Jay will be bringing out the Mira, and so you've got a bit of that extra intel, a bit of that extra, you know, site control, area control, but this is risky, and plus Barring bringing the Doc, another mind bender for us here, Harrison.
Yeah, Doc, an operator that almost never gets brought. Who did we see play Doc before? I can't remember.
I remember it happened, but I gotta say I have no idea who. Just blocked it out of my memory.
Oh, you know what? It was during the SI game. It was Mirage. Nix played him. Actually, right. I think it was on. Was it on Oregon? Or no, it was on Coastline. That's what it was. Either way, Doc is never an operator we see played. His heals are just inferior to Thunderbirds because Thunderbirds are infinite and they heal almost as much as the Stim Pistol. He's a 3 armor, doesn't have a C4 like Thunderbird does. Rook has more magnification, which is really the only reason people used to bring Doc and Rook anyway. So not a whole lot of reasons to play Doc, but hey, Barney just wants to get aggressive, be selfish. And Doc is the perfect operator. Chess Club also have swapped a couple of their operators. Now Doc is on Lion. He'll be playing that flank watch. Gunner has picked up that ace, and Bills is off Twitch on Finka as soon as the Mira is being brought. So a little bit of an unfortunate switch there if Chess Club end up, struggling with clearing that. But Freak is just going to simply peek big window and take the head off a Gunner for the first kill.
I mean, we talked about the entry issues the Wolves have been having, and it looks like Freak and Mo are single-handedly trying to remedy all of those issues here on that defensive half. 2 early fights in the first round, another early fight in the second round, all going the way of this defense. The nades coming in, though, from Chess Club are trying to force the Wolves back. They will be forced to play a little bit more passively here, but Freak does not want to give up this position. He's got 3 attackers bearing down on him, and he needs to be careful about how he plays this. He's going to overstay his welcome, and yes, it is going to punish him for that. However, he actually gets a kill onto Bills before eventually getting traded off by Snake, and that means that is 2 opening picks for the Wolves, 2 of those entry kills from Freak.
What?
Now another one credited to Mohes, as just walks in unaware of the position of the mute. Fantastic start from the Wolves yet again. It's a 2v4 for Chess Club.
That was a little bit odd from Doc pushing down Z with no assistance and not even checking Freezer, which is a pretty default position for someone to play, especially on meeting. But Mr. B, doesn't fully clear Attic. And so Reed, tucked behind the corner, he'll capitalize and find the kill on the Hibana. That leaves Snake alone in lobby. In a 1 versus 4, Wichita Wolves showing their teeth right now, making sure that Chess Club cannot gain any momentum in the early round, tripping them up as soon as they try to enter the building. And Mo pre-fires down the last member. It's 2 defenses in a row from a very aggressive Wichita Wolves.
Yeah, I'm loving the aggression so far. I'm loving the creativity to pull out the, tertiary bomb site, maybe catching Chess Club a little bit off guard, not only in terms of the aggression they played, but simply in terms of the site selection as well. Also, I heard during that round from Ferme, who, popped in and said, it turns out Wichita Wolves have actually played the Doc before. That was the 3rd time we've seen them run with a peculiar operator selection like that. And even though I don't think we saw Barring put those stims to much use, it just speaks to the creativity they're trying to bring out. They didn't have a great performance on Oregon last time. At least based on these first 2 rounds, Harrison, it seems like they've gone back to the drawing board and they've come up with some pretty successful innovations. Chess Club struggling to realize, what they're walking into and how to deal with it. That is 2 rounds in a row where we have seen creative setups on a map that we see all the time with very little creativity. The first round, we saw the extension to Arsenal opening the closet wall, playing aggressive in tower. And the second round, of course, a meeting setup with a good bit of that upstairs presence. You add a Mira into the mix, and it was a pretty lethal hold once again.
And they're still bringing that Mira, of course, for the downstairs site. Equally strong there, especially in, as people call it, Mira closet sometimes, or just closet facing down laundry. That can be a tough obstacle to deal with as the attack, though. Mr. B is still bringing that Hibana. That's the only thing Chess Club really have to deal with it, barring, maybe a nade sent in by Gunner or Bills. Barring will even put one on Elbow. So no one actually playing in Elbow. Despite having the smoke, he'll be in barrel doorway instead. But hey, because of that window, it's going to be a lot harder for Chess Club, once they gain elbow control, to establish that long crossfire into the site and peek in towards Freezer. So we'll see if Chess Club are able to make the proper adaptations and be prepared for Wichita Wolves to swing on them. Mo with an early C4 and a jammer in pocket. Not going to find anything with that explosive, so it'll be a little bit wasted as Chess Club start to mount their clear through Master and Trophy.
And this is where the round pretty much went extremely wrong last time, and already the issues for Chess Club emerging once again. Freak tearing apart this attack at its onset, and he wants some more. He's down here in kitchen. He knows there's some attackers clearing their way through the showers corridor. He will take 1 fight before quickly dropping away. Doesn't want to deal with that any longer, but I do believe there is still somebody lurking upstairs on that first floor. Somebody over back in T1. That's going to be Jay. who's yet to be dealt with. Actually, it's Reed who was there a moment ago, but he's now back down a little bit. So I guess technically everyone is on this first floor now, or rather the basement floor. And Chess Club, accordingly, will have pretty firm control of the first floor. They'll be clearing their way through, and now they'll be turning their sights to whatever's going on below them.
I like how Wichita Wolves so far haven't really overstayed their welcome, right? They figure, all right, you know what? We got to pick. Let's not get greedy. Just fall back. They're going to waste time clearing us anyway because we got that kill. No need to, again, give them opportunities to claw back. So I like the play from Wichita Wolves, although the first round, you know, when they got those entries, Chess Club had a very good mid-round, and they almost clawed things back. In fact, had a slight advantage heading into the final 1v1. But now we're sub 1 minute. Chess Club are just now reaching the bottom floor. In comes Freak, who's still trying to get aggressive, but it's Barring instead. Tucked in Chala to get that kill on Gunner. Now a 2-man advantage for this defense. Mr. B the next to drop. Will frag Barring and get that late trade. Freak the next to die. It's another for Snake with the LMG. He's popping off, but Jay still has a response to keep the man count even. Now it's just him and Mo, the two SAS operators in a 2 versus 2, unless Reed can get picked up, but stuck in the middle of the hallway. He's got no asylum, and it's, again, even man count. 20 seconds. No gas canisters left for Jay to make any play with. Nade goes in, and Mo, he walks right into it. Unfortunate timing, but Jay again pounces on the refrag, and now just has to play ring around the rosy with Bills. He just has to delay another 10 seconds, but plays far with the shotgun, and Bills pre-fires him to the floor. Chess Club take their first point.
I mean, as much as we've talked about and praised Wichita Wolves for their early round, their mid-round and late round has, you know, consistently left something to be desired. And another situation, much like round 1, where Wichita Wolves start out so strong, and then what happens? They just cannot hold down the site to save their lives. I mean, you talked about the importance of maybe not overstaying their welcome and falling back to the site, but I've got to wonder if maybe they should stay extended from the site, because the both rounds in round 1 and round 3, where they did go back to the site and play more passively, they got mowed down on the site. Snake tore them apart, and in those 2v2 situations, they have not looked very confident. Another situation where the Wolves just got themselves a little bit, just felt like they were a little bit uncomfortable, and it was a little bit confusing too, because it looked like everything was going their way. They should have had the intel, they should have had the, I mean, they did have the man advantage, but they should have had a lot more going for them in that round than they actually ended up utilizing. Another miracle that Chess Club were able to pull that one out, but Wichita Wolves, they just haven't been positioning on the site, and it just hasn't been looking all that clean. So yes, so far their defense has been pretty good, but Chess Club, they're going to take a round, and doing so with such a dominant end round after such a rough start, concerning for the Wolves if that pattern continues.
Yeah, if Chess Club continue to figure out what the Wichita Wolves game plan is and keep having good recoveries in that mid-round, I definitely agree that it might be a little bit troubling, but we'll see if Wichita Wolves make a successful Dorms defense once again. Earlier, they had 2 very fast opening kills, but no one from Chess Club is exposing themselves just yet. Remains to be seen if Wichita Wolves are still going to get that entry, but it looks like Chess Club are playing a little bit more, not passively, but a little more reserved, not just walking up to the building, you know, with no cares in the world. Mo as well playing inside of the walk-in closet. This is a position we saw him reinforce off in the previous round after they got those 2 openers, and he will very quickly fall back once again, even though no one's challenged him. A little curious there from Mo, leaving Barring perhaps on an island.
Yeah, reinforcing the closet, kind of abandoning whatever early extension they wanted to run with. Actually, Barring, he doesn't abandon the idea entirely. He will move back towards Armory, back towards an aggressive position, while the rest of this attack works their way in from this west side. There will be Jay in security for this attack to deal with, and actually Barring finds himself going all the way outside. Gunner is caught completely off guard, and Barring will whip around and take his life. Snake will get a trade, something he's done so well so far this map, but another kill will find its way going towards the defense. That is Bills also shut down. You're losing your Yana and your Finka, which at this point in the round isn't too bad, but you'd certainly benefit from having those boosts later in the round. You do still have some soft destruction. You do have the hard destruction you need still for this attack. So they do have some avenues to look back to and to potentially turn to in time of trouble. But, you know, the time is starting to dwindle down. They only have 4 drones, and, you know, this is about the time where Mo is going to start to deploy those toxic smokes. One of them on the big double window. Doc, a solo push up white stairs, gets denied, and now Snake looks like he'll be taking up the exact same endeavor.
And Mr. B is kind of stuck outside big window. Not a lot of opportunity for him to get in, especially with that smoke prone right under it. Snake will land a very nice pre-fire, but like I said, the smoke will kill Mr. B as he attempts to vault in, and Snake, you know, although having 150 bullets and being able to lay down that pre-fire, is too low HP to do anything against the pistol of Freak. And what started as an adjustment from Chess Club, you know, trying to go white big window side, quickly turned sour as, well, their entries didn't have as much teeth as they wanted.
I want to compliment the sight hold from the Wolves. I do, but I guess that's not really what won them the round after all. I mean, it was early aggression. It was just taking gunfights, and it was just an absolutely ballsy play from Barring. Just walking out the double door and taking the fight onto Gunner. Not something I would have expected him to do. I mean, he's picking Doc, and that's not something I would have expected him to do either. So, proving that a couple of unexpected things can work. So, hey, you got the job done, and now Wichita Wolves continue to stretch their lead out further. It's 3-1 right now, and yeah, I mean, meeting is where they were even more successful last time. They've just got to keep that up.
And they're bringing the Doc again, curiously enough. I guess maybe we'll see Barring actually get into some gunfights this time. I guess the whole plan for Barring is, like, holding down Split, kind of aggressively swinging out towards lobby and stuff. And I mean, he's got a 1.5, you know, not a 2x, so it might still be at a little bit of a range disadvantage, but you know, if he ever takes damage, he can heal himself back up, continue to lord over Split and what have you. We also saw last time for Wichita Wolves there was a mirror window placed in attic. That's where Jay is, or well, not really, that's not where Jay is playing, but that's where he'll leave a mirror window for Reed to play behind, I would imagine. The second mirror window was soft, also covering Split. So really banking on the fact that Chess Club are going to go upstairs and lobby side, and judging by the initial clear so far, it looks like Wichita Wolves are right on the money.
And now I guess it's just Freak's time to shine. He's been very successful on this top floor clear in the past, and as if on cue, he will take Bills down. That's going to be on the dorms window. Bill's just trying to provide that cutoff, and he will get outright denied. Barring will second that, finally getting involved as the Doc and taking Snake. And that pick has really got to hurt for Chess Club. Your top frag, the player who's been bringing you back out of very tough situations, he is already gone in this round. And so is Gunner. You've lost your Selmas, you've lost your Ace. You still, of course, have those X-Kairos pellets from Mr. B, but you also have yourselves in a 2v5. A situation that looks ugly, to say the least. Only now, using those X-Kairos to get that master wall open. You've got Mo opening up an angle from below. He wants to take this fight with Mr. B. While he's doing that, Freak is busy swinging every possible doorway, and that's going to be the head of Doc that he will take as his prize. Last alive is Mr. B, and even though there are 90 seconds left, the hopes of Chess Club in this round are simply non-existent. Wichita Wolves have really laid on the aggression, and it has worked for them again.
Yeah, Chess Club playing very individualistic in this round. We saw Bills kind of solo by himself, get killed by Freak. Gunner solo by himself, challenging the kitchen doorway from dining and killed from the hatch. No trade really on the Snake either. And now it's just Mr. B. Freak will just walk in front of his breach, so that's a freebie for the Hibana, but I imagine that's all but a Pyrrhic victory because, I mean, what else are you going to do? He's still got 4 bodies to find and only 50 seconds to do it. There's 2 holding down lobby, both Barring and Mo, that he's going to have to deal with. He'll flash in towards Classroom, obviously aware of that position, but as he blinds himself, he won't be able to capitalize, and he will slink back upstairs in shame. Mo is still holding down that staircase as Mr. B now tries for attic, but it's Reed to collect the final kill and finally put the Hibana out of her misery. Wichita Wolves now extend their lead 4-1.
Harrison, 5 rounds in. No better time for a pop quiz. Guess how many rounds? Wichita Wolves have gotten the opening pick.
All of them.
All of them. You're absolutely right. And it's no surprise why in every single round so far, they have come out to a blazing start. The one round that Chess Club was able to win, Wichita Wolves still did get the opening pick, but then Chess Club, really with Snake at the helm, were able to bridge that gap and made a comeback, pushing the basement site very aggressively and making it work for them. But as far as every other round is concerned, Wichita Wolves have taken the advantage and they have not given it up. Our critical point was that everyone, not just Barring, needs to be on point with their entry duels, and it seems like they've heard us because they are on fire. Freak has gotten most of these opening picks. Barring has gotten a couple. Mo has gotten a couple. It is unreal, the adjustment we're seeing here from the Wolves, and frankly, shocking that Chess Club haven't done anything to quell that issue. They've gotten first picked every single round. We saw a cheeky comment from Snake in chat, a round or two ago about his teammates constantly getting first picked. And I mean, you can't fault the guy that much. That is actually what is happening. Chess Club just need to just tidy up their own entry game, whether that is, sending in drones a bit earlier, getting a better idea of where Freak is positioned, where Reed, where Mo are positioned, but whatever it may be, they've got to keep it tidy because it is slipping away from them. And yeah, they've gotten the one round they need. They could theoretically get one more, but it really feels like the Wolves have all the momentum right now.
Yeah, it seems like they can almost do no wrong. Chess Club, I mean, they have Snake going 7-5, and no one else is above 3 in the past 5 rounds. Gunner is at 0. The highest rated player on the team yet to find the scoreboard. Maybe, he's just a defensive player, but I don't know. Something about the way Chess Club are playing, they don't look nearly as fearsome as they normally do, or as they did earlier in this season. Barring might be the next to find an early grave as Gunner is approaching his backside. He'll start to swing and retreat towards Freezer, and Gunner does not let him slip away. The team captain will find his very first kill and the first opener that Chess Club have had this entire map.
The very first opening pick. Now let's see what Chess Club can do with it. Freak is still on the hunt despite his teammate falling. He still wants some more on this top floor, and he will take Gunner, he will take Doc, and he wants 2 more. He'll just sprint towards the white stairs, but Snake was ready. Snake now wants 1 more, and Reed is happy to actually challenge him. A bold move, but Mr. B is the one to push him next. Bold from the Habana. Now you've lost your hard breach. Thankfully, Snake is still a demon with the LMG in his hands. Both Bills and Snake pretty lit up. They will be able to get some health back, but they've also pinned down the position of Jay. They know where he's located. The fact that he is not on the site in the basement is a little bit curious, and Chess Club may use that opportunity to run all the way down. Yes, here they come, down the back stairs. Jay knows this, so it's time for him to step up.
He's going to start sending his gas canisters out really early on. He'll manage to cross through the long hallway, but take a lot of damage as a price, and the Finka will just easily finish him off. It was a really good start from the defense with Freak's frag and the Wamai peeking out, getting one of his own, but the refrags and the initial opener from Chess Club really kept them in step, right? Despite Gunner getting the first frag, Freak immediately traded out, got a second because Doc decided he was going to reload while crossing the big window for whatever reason. But then, we saw the white stairs push. They kill Freak. The Wamai gets one, but the players pushing get the refrag onto the Wamai. I think that was actually Snake who got the second one. I'm not sure where Mo died, but he died. And that left Jay alone, and he was woefully off-site. Curiously enough, I mean, if he was closer to site, he could have gassed out the tower stairs themselves to prevent, the attackers blitzing their way into pillar, but he was far too late, forced to cross through the long hall, took a lot of damage, and isolated himself in a pretty easy to pre-fire corner. And, I mean, the Wichita will still take a 4-2 on their defense. So, while this is normal, I think Wichita Wolves definitely could have taken a 5-1, maybe even a 6-0 if they just had a better mid-round.
I mean, yeah, that's fair. I mean, especially the one round that really looked bad from them, even though they got off to such a good start. That was round 3, where they got the opening pick. I think maybe even 2. It was a 5v3, and Chess Club bring it back. Really did feel more like a 5-1 half than a 4-2, but with that 2 rounds under their belt, Chess Club, maybe they can now move into their defense a little bit more confidently. Of course, with the caveat that Chess Club did pick attack to start out this map. Wichita Wolves picked attack in overtime, so it's probable that the Wolves feel more confident on the attack. I highlighted that their attacking win rate was stronger than their defensive win rate coming in to the map tonight, and that is something that Chess Club will certainly be looking to change as soon as they can. In terms of the operator lineup itself on the defensive side, it's not like we're seeing any sort of crazy aggressive picks. We don't see the Malusi, and we don't see much of a roam either. All of these defenders, you can see those blue outlines as they dart their way around the basement site. Everyone is downstairs, not contesting this early clear from the Wolves. It's not something we saw from the Wolves at all. A very different style of defense. We'll see how the Wolves can handle this.
I mean, it's been a relatively straightforward clear so far. No one's really challenging with the exception of Bills, who's at the top of the T1 steps, just looking for drones to shoot before he likely falls back. So Wichita Wolves are allowed to do whatever they want with this clear, but Bills maybe getting a little bit aggressive. I think Mo hears him, though. This could be a very easy pre-fire for the Twitch. You don't even need him. It's just barring through that meeting wall to catch Bills in the head. Down goes your Wamai, who I doubt put very many discs on the site itself. Those could be sorely missed, but you still do have Doc and Snake, both with that Aruni and the Jaeger to keep you protected. The mirror windows giving a little trouble to the Wichita Wolves. Freak obviously not able to safely go down the laundry steps because of it. Nade goes in, does not hit anyone. There's a mirror window by Freezer as well, but it does mean that if Wichita Wolves can take full control of bunker, elbow, and pillar, those mirror windows will be less effective.
Right, the mirror windows are not geared up to prevent a pillar or tower push, and it does seem that the Wolves have realized that and are now pivoting over to that position. The burn will begin. Somebody positioned on those tower stairs. You've got a couple people poised for that E-box drop. In fact, here the drop comes in. Freak gets one. Jay, a perfect follow-up nade. Gunner gets one back, but now he's been taken care of, and it's all up to Snake now to make something happen. Jay will deal with his teammate. One tapping Freak. Snake gets one, but he is quickly finished off moments later. It has really all come down to Snake in several of these rounds, and in 2 of those rounds, he was able to make something happen, but in this case, just not able to stop the power of that Wolves attack, who just waited for the perfect moment to strike, and when they saw their opening, they just took advantage.
Yeah, and again, like we highlighted in the middle of that round, that was a really good adjustment away from the mirror windows, spotting out that, hey, there's one box watching laundry. There was one freezer. We don't necessarily need all of that to make an attack happen. Sure, a lot of times with Pillar, we'll see a team take in through freezer, but that's when they haven't grabbed full elbow control. Wichita Wolves, I think it was the Iana, gone 6 to the bunker double door, got the kill on the Mr. B, and that was all that that was all that Wichita Wolves needed. Because of those smokes, they cut off the only Pillar player who could have stopped that rush. That's probably why Snake called in for the assist from Doc the Aruni to rotate in, but he ended up rotating directly into a frag grenade, and from there Wichita Wolves just cleaned up the round with the sheer amount of control and manpower they had at their disposal. They're now up 5-2, and the chances of a Chess Club comeback thin with each passing second.
We've got to see them change something up. We've got to see them stop the momentum of the Wolves. I mean, it seems that Freak and Mo are moving into this map, that Barring is moving into this map with the confidence that we're used to seeing from them, not the confidence or the lack thereof that they've had in the group stage thus far. I mean, coming out into the playoffs, we expressed a little bit of concern with the fragging capability of the roster, given some of the shifts that they've had, some of the issues that they've had adapting to the lineup changes that they've had to work with week after week. But, it's good to finally see Freak and Mo back, at full form, Barring joining them, just putting up some really good numbers right now. And it's really up to them to continue that here in round number 8. This top floor site, a site that I will remind you, the Wichita Wolves have an 80% attacking win rate on coming into the night. They're going to be looking to further that percentage. They're going to be looking to get this one done. Of course, Snake, the man himself, I've talked about him a lot tonight so far. He is actually positioned all the way in T3, going for a bit of a late play, potentially trying to stay hidden as long as possible.
Yeah, I don't think they know he's there, and so they'll just continue on with their normal push. I mean, if they don't go for Attic, then that, position is kind of null and void, and you can see Snake is kind of starting to fall back from that position. Perfectly placed gas grenade will deny all of Trophy from that attack, but it looks like Gunner and Barring are back-to-back with each other here, right behind that thin top laundry stairs single wall. No one pushing in just yet. Just kind of at a standstill. In fact, Barring will dart out of the building, maybe joining his team upstairs, but it's Snake, that player, over towards Tower to land the first kill onto Mohes, and that is your Flores dead. Not the pick that you wanted to lose first. I mean, there's not too many shields to deal with. There's only one, but still... Actually, I was going to say the bulletproof cam that Snake hasn't actually used. Mute jammers, of which Doc still has 2 in pocket. Actually, maybe losing that Flores isn't quite a big deal. Not as big as I thought, but Freak is hitting the crouch walk. He's getting active towards Freezer. There's someone to meet him by security, though, and, well, meet him they will. It's Bills with that easy kill. Jay will get a refrag, but it's still a one-man disadvantage for Wichita Wolves heading to the last 50 seconds of the round.
Yeah, they're going to have to work their way back from this 3v4, and now that Snake is actually back on the site, it is going to be a true 3v4, rather than a 3v3 with Snake coming in for a late flank. Gunner is, downstairs, not in the perfect position to assist, and you do have Bills trying to play on the staircase, and he will get taken down. Barring will get a double kill as he takes Snake life as well. He'll get shot in the back, so we just hold left click.
Whoa!
Doc actually drops away, but he's got a nitro cell to deny the plant from Reed. Gunner knows he's alone on the site, and he's got to be careful about where he moves in, but he'll just take the fight with Barring, ends up losing it. The C4 from Doc, of course, missing. He's actually going to have to come back to the site and do the work the old-fashioned way, and even though he's able to get 1, he will not be able to get the 2nd. So the Wolves, and albeit a much messier attack than the one before, they will win it again, and they're going to actually take us to match point in just a few rounds.
Yeah, it was pretty messy, but I like how they took initiative, right? So they lose Mo early on. Freak can't make anything happen on the crouch walk, but they do trade out, right? I think it was it Mr. B who died? Pretty sure it was Mr. B. Either him or Doc. Either way, doesn't matter. A chess club member had died. So, Wichita Wolves were down 2 men. And then they just walk in. They just walk in through Trophy. And no one from Chess Club is watching the doorway. Well, with the exception of, I think it was Bills, who gets capped by Barring. That allows the Zofia and the Hibana in. Barring gets the 2nd kill on a Snake to take in through Attic. The Mute, attempting the refrag, I think that was Doc, drops the hatch. Whether it was by accident or not, it severely weakened the site presence, so Gunner was alone, had to take a 1v1, and was immediately traded by Jay. That decision from the Mute to drop was definitely a questionable one and allowed the plant to go down. If he had hit the C4 as the follow-up, it could have been justifiable, but he didn't. He completely whiffed it. I don't even know where he sent the C4, but it certainly wasn't where the plant was going down. In fact, it was so soon after the Mute drop that the plant was going down by Reed that he had enough time to establish the angle of the bomb chassis towards White and refrag Jay. Because otherwise, I mean, if that Wamai had gotten that kill and continued pushing and had the ability to, if Reed was still planning it had to come up, perhaps the Wamai wins it. But the fact that Reed already had that case down allows for a proper trade. And Wichita Wolves don't let the round slip out of their control. Like you said, 6-2, a monumental lead for this attacking team. They'll swap on to Twitch for Mo. And I mean, since there's a Mira, that certainly makes sense. And Doc, attempting to challenge early, will simply throw his life away. Luckily, Gunner's there to respond, but he's not long for this world. And it's a one-man advantage for Wichita Wolves within the first 30 seconds.
Yeah, Doc was trying to channel his inner freak there, and unfortunately not able to win that fight against Jay, who was more than prepared for that gunfight. Freak ended up dying to Gunner, who also wanted to take an early engagement, but as you said, traded out pretty quickly, giving Wichita Wolves an advantage early on. A 4v3, you've lost your Yana, which really isn't that big of a deal. You do have these Aruni gates to clear out on the site, but you've got a Twitch drone to take out the rest of the utility, as Mo is doing quite effectively, so now you've got a bit extra utility to spare for whatever else you need to take care of. That Twitch drone now will continue just decimating utility downstairs, maybe even deal with that prox alarm over on tower stairs just for fun. But the point is, Wichita Wolves, they're sitting very pretty right now. Their utility game on point. Their intel game, they've still got 6 drones to work with. They've got 90 seconds to work with. And they have effectively pushed all of these defenders back onto the site below. Snake knows he needs to get something done here, and he'll take an aggressive fight on that security hatch, nearly losing his life, by the way, but still in it to join his 2 teammates who really need to step up as well on this site below.
That was a close one for Reed. He was actually caught with the X-Kairos launcher out, it looked like. But Mr. B still has a window in pocket, meaning that, again, Wichita Wolves have the freedom to choose where to push. Smoke grenades go in. That'll allow Mohes to initially make his way through. He'll dodge the bullets from Elbow and take control in towards Pillar. And continue to watch the Elbow walk up, but as Jay drops, he doesn't expect Mr. B to be holding close on the bomb chassis. We've now evened up the man count, 40 seconds remaining, making a one-man advantage for Chess Club as Bills finds a pick. Reed coming in, looking to establish something in main hall, but he can't find the kill. In fact, he's downed. Barring is there for the cover, though. But it doesn't look like he's preoccupied with picking up his teammate. He'll take the long angle, win it against Snake, but he's heavily punished for it, down to 1 HP. Now is the time he needs to go for that res, because otherwise, in a straight 1v1 against a gun like the Vector, he will likely lose that fight. He'll go for the res, but Mr. B is sneaking around, could find this late flank. 10 seconds left. Barring finishes 1 kill, he drops the case. 7 seconds, Barring, you need to get the trade, but he's stunned. Only 5 seconds left with that heavy LMG. He's not going to make it in time. Mr. B's tuck tail and run, and Chess Club take round number 9.
That one came down to the wire, but Chess Club really holding on there and doing something that they have done phenomenally well for this entire map's duration, and that is bringing it back from what looks like a very tough situation. I'm trying to think, both of the rounds, I guess they've won 3 rounds now, but 2 out of 3 of those rounds that they've won, they have been in some sort of man disadvantage, whether that was at the beginning of the round, even to the mid or the end round. They have been in a very tough spot and have clawed their way out of it on several different occasions. Right now, that is this team's biggest strength compared to the Wolves, where I would honestly argue that playing in those situations on site when it matters the most, that is their biggest weakness right now, as we saw on their defensive half. So Chess Club taking as much as they can and whatever advantage they can find, they're trying to secure it, but some early round shenanigans aren't going to help them out any further in this map. They need to tidy up the early round. As we've said before, they are still 3 rounds down. They have 3 more match points to work their way through before we even get sent to overtime. And you know for a fact that this team wants to open up with a win when their playoff lives depend on it. Of course, we will see that second map of Clubhouse and potentially that decider of Chalet, but to open up on your opponent's map pick, you want to make a statement, you want to take it if you can. It just doesn't seem that Chess Club have it all going for them right now. They're still 3 rounds down, and despite a strong hold in those last few seconds, they now have to do that 3 more times.
And they're going to try it on the tertiary site as well, with Wichita Wolves making yet another swap freak off Iana onto the Flores. That was the operator Mo was playing earlier that he dropped Twitch for, but I guess they want to conserve those shock drones. And Reed is already in garage, opening up the split wall. So early presence here from the attack in the building, applying site pressure within the first 30 seconds. That's going to prompt Snake to rotate down from his perch. Oh, a long angle from Bills peeking out the window, but no, he's just a little bit too late. Still gets the kill onto Reed. Wow, what a shot from the Malusi. He takes a lot of damage for it, but still cutting down the Hibana after she's really only opened up a peek hole into split. That is a beautiful entry for Chess Club.
I mean, that is a play from Bills that you usually do not see, re-peeking a window 5 times to get a kill. But Reed also was willing to challenge it as many times as Bills was. So both players making what felt like a clumsy engagement prolong, and Bills ending up with the victory in that engagement. Snake finds himself in a very strong position as well. He's sitting on the main stairs right now, and so if the Wolves want to use whatever hard destruction Reed was able to do before he died, they've got to push right into Snake's waiting arms. Mohes is going to do that, and he will be punished for it. Freak gets one back, but that is all he will get as Doc takes him down as well. And Jay and Barring are on the complete other side of the map, while all of this is transpiring, are trying to work their way in through dining, just going to funnel through the single doorway, and while it works to get them a kill, it works to get them 2 kills, because Mr. B cannot shoot back. It will not work for too much more. But Doc will take Barning's life. It is all going to be up to Jay right now, who's going to go for this defuse, and Snake, he is going to drop down and try to deny it. The wallbang attempt fails, meaning that now we're in a post plant. Jay can heal himself back up, and now he's just got a position for this post plant, but just cannot escape Snake's pre-fire. The really, I'm not going to say carry, but it really feels like Snake is putting Chess Club on his back right now, and in some situations, single-handedly pulling Chess Club out of treacherous scenarios. They will take another round.
Oh, absolutely. Snake is the man of the hour right now for this team. Really the only thing piecing them together. And, I mean, the gap is starting to close, but Chess Club still need 2 more rounds. That last round, I mean, wow. Jay? That was heroic. Did you see those shots he was hitting? Not only did he win the fight against the castle, Mr. B, I'm sorry, you gotta hit those. I don't know what the hell that was. And then he spun around like, I don't even know how many degrees. It was like a 3/4 turn. What's a 3/4 turn? 270 degrees to slam, I think that was Doc. That was incredible. Unfortunately, when it comes down to the 1v1, he did get the plant down, but was unable to escape because of Snake's pre-fire. So it was a valiant attempt from Jay. Unfortunately, though, it was not enough. Snake 13-8, not only the top fragger of the lobby, but also the only man on his team positive.
Chess Club are closer to bringing this one back, though. 4-6 right now. Only a 2-round gap when just a moment ago it felt like an impossibility. It now feels certainly possible for Chess Club to bridge the gap. They dealt with the tough site. They dealt with the meeting rather effectively there, thanks to Snake. And now they gotta head back to dorms and see what they can do on this top floor. Last time they were here in round number 8, they could not successfully hold it down from a Wichita Wolves attack that just would not let up. And it'll just be about making a couple of those corrections. The aggression that they have brought out on the defense in the past couple of rounds has been quite successful. We saw Bills go for the spawn peak. We've seen Snake take some aggressive fights, and it looks like he wants to do so again. He'll be supported by Gunner here in Garage, who also wants to get aggressive, possibly wielding that MX4 Storm, the perfect weapon for a situation like this. And if he can play off the calls of Snake, he could potentially pop out that garage door and make a play outside. He'll remain passive for now, as will the Jaeger of Snake. They're just kind of waiting for Wichita Wolves to work their way in, because there is a chance they could catch them off guard. It does seem that Snake will think twice, in fact, maybe repositioning over to where the other attackers are entering.
Something we haven't talked about either is the Zero and the Jackal picks now from Wichita Wolves coming out. The Zero, who has hard breach charges and, who can establish that flank watch, although you do need someone actively watching them. And the Jackal, who can make this roam clear a tad bit easier, slightly less reliant on drones. You can scan feet and force people back. What's Barring look like he's going to take the spearhead in this clear. Doesn't know about Gunner and Garage, though. He could very easily get flanked, but there's the Jackal track coming into play, scanning whoever's actually bottom white now. And Barring's going to keep pressing. Can the Jaeger get away in time? He does, and as Barring shoots the alibi, the Jaeger, not aware of the Zofia coming towards his back, and he'll continue. Another kill on Mr. B. Can't find the third on to Doc. The Zero, unable to find the trade either, but Jay will come in to save the day, securing the one-man advantage for Wichita Wolves. Bills can't go up white. Gunner finally comes in for the flank, but it's still a 1v2, and Freak actually, I don't know where he is. Is he in for support? Sorry, I didn't see a silhouette up site. That could have been a 1v1 for Gunner on site, but no, Jay is still there to win it out, and Wichita Wolves take the map. It could have been a lot more dominant, but still a 7-4 victory.
Yeah, in the end, it did look like Chess Club had more than a fighting chance, though, and they tried to hang on as much as they could in that last round. In particular. Maybe had Gunnar, brought in that flank a little bit sooner, got back to site a little bit quicker. We saw how aggressive that defense wanted to play, and only then, only 2 rounds later, did we see the Wolves finally understand, what the plan was from Chess Club and how to counter it. Instead of, trying to clear out every single extended defender, they said, wait, we've got a site that is pretty much available for the taking. Let's push in. Let's force Gunnar and Bills to come back to the site. We know that they've got to come up some kind of staircase. We can train somebody on that angle, and they did so rather well, able to take the round. It certainly wasn't clean from the Wolves.
No.
They had their moments where they really let it slip away. They fumbled the bag on the site a couple of times, but they did look dominant. They were finding more kills, and sometimes just being dominant in the entry game is enough to put you over the edge.
Yeah, it was surprising from Wichita Wolves, if I'm honest, especially with how they've struggled in the past against hyper-aggressive teams. But today, Chess Club simply didn't look like they were shooting back enough. I mean, Snake aside, going 13-9, I think tied for top frag in the lobby with someone on Wichita Wolves, if I'm not mistaken, may have just, been over it. I think maybe the top on Wichita Wolves was 12. I don't know. I don't remember. But either way, Snake was doing incredibly well. Unfortunately, no one was up there with him. And a team like Chess Club that tend to rely on their fraggers quite a bit, that's not good news. Now, luckily for them, Oregon was Wichita Wolves' map, so it's not completely over just yet, but that was a really good showing to start the series off.
And of course, Clubhouse coming up next. But before we get there, got to send some love to our wonderful sponsor, Mike and Ike's. You know them, you love them. The Mike and Ike original mix, the Mike and Ike mega mix, a mega mix sour. So many flavors to suit your fancy. Whatever you're feeling, Mike and Ike have got you. The delicious, fruity, chewy flavors can help power you up and seriously keep you playing at your best. You can take your candy game to the next level with a delicious pack of Mike and Ike's. We've talked about them a lot here, and we love them here at SCS because they've been a committed sponsor with us here at SCS at NSG for such a long time. But while you reminisce about the delicious fruity flavors of Mike and Ike, we are going to take a quick break. When we come back, we've got Clubhouse, Chess Club. They've got to make a stand.
Have to get aggressive. Breach looking for it, and Hill got it.
Have to push for the kill. Have to kill the Lewinsky.
Transfers on 1-3. What a passion! It's high noon. There's the 1v2 and 5-1-half for Sir.
Welcome to the NerdStreet Winter Championships, featuring SCS6, a yearly open tournament series hosting the best players and teams North America has to offer, culminating in a community favorite, the Pro-Am. So let's discuss format. During the Winter Champs season, SCS6 will consist of 2 stages, where each stage begins with 2 open qualifiers. Once Stage 1 is complete, there will be an additional tournament offering 1 more qualification spot prior to Stage 2. Through participating in SCS6, players will acquire leaderboard points and cash prizing. The winning teams from Stage 1 and 2, as well as the additional tournament, will qualify for the Pro-Am. The top 2 teams from the leaderboard will also qualify. As we approach the end of the season, the final qualification spot will be determined through a last chance qualifier. The grand finals of the Winter Champs SCS6 will feature the return of the Pro-Am, where the top amateur teams have an opportunity to define their talent against the North American Pro League. But in the end, only one team will be crowned Winter Champs. Sign up today and make history.
Have to get aggressive. Reed's looking for it, and Hill got it.
Have to push for the kill. Have to kill the Malinski.
Transfers on 1-3. What a passion! It's high noon. There's the 1v2, and 5-1 half reserve.
Hello everyone, welcome back for map 2 in our first series between Chess Club and Wichita Wolves. If you missed it, we just saw Oregon. Wichita Wolves pick go their way 7-4 as Chess Club looked very uncharacteristically limp in the fragging department.
Yeah, it just wasn't the Chess Club we saw in the group stage. They didn't come to play tonight, at least on Oregon, and yeah, they did start to step things up towards the second half of that map, but it just wasn't fully clicking for them. Now, the one solace they can take in this, though, is that Wichita Wolves, they weren't playing all that clean either. They were dominant in the entry game, dominant in the fragging department, but when it came to just on-site structured play, it did feel like Chess Club had a slight edge in that area, right? We saw how Chess Club was able to just simply play more controlled, play more disciplined, and get themselves back from pretty substantial disadvantages because Wichita Wolves kind of let them.
Yeah, it was some odd mid-rounds from the Wolves that hopefully will be shored up on Clubhouse. I know, we were talking in the break, you were saying that you don't know if Wichita Wolves are going to take this next map because the aggression that they showed on Oregon is a lot harder to employ on a map like Clubhouse. I mean, you can still roam, but there's a lot less opportunity for crazy plays like that. And yeah, I was right. Snake was tied with the top performer. It was actually barring to just barely edge him out. 13-8, a 1.49 rating for the top entry player on this team right now. I mean, he just went from what, +11 to +14, and that was something that really shined through for Wichita Wolves. Barring was really the only competent entry player. Well, not competent entry player. He was the only player who was competent in terms of entry differential before today. We saw everyone step up, especially Freak.
Yeah, really putting up numbers, especially on the defensive side. He's obviously +3 on the entry just in that map alone, 11-9 overall. And, we didn't see a ton of objective play, but we did see so much fragging and so much aggression that the objective play is generally going to be put a little bit by the wayside while you just try to take gunfights and try to find those frags. But heading into Clubhouse, this is going to be likely a different story. It is a lot harder to play that aggressive on defense on Clubhouse. Aggression that Wichita Wolves maybe pioneered in this series, and then Chess Club, maybe they didn't start with it on defense, but then they decided to bring it out. Both teams found success with that aggression on the defensive side. This map generally doesn't lean very heavily into that strategy. As we get into the bans here, these teams have to be thinking, okay, what am I going to turn to on the defense now? That is the side where you've got to be structured and you got to be a little bit more composed, especially compared to what we saw in Oregon.
Yeah, but like we saw in Oregon, we have a Thatcher Mav ban, and again, Chess Club ban Mira, leaving the Cade up to Wichita Wolves. Now, Cade is not impossible to deal with, but it is very difficult, and yeah, Wichita Wolves don't want to deal with that when it comes to their attacking side, which means, unlike last map where we had Mira up, on Clubhouse, we've got Valkyrie.
Yeah, it's honestly a little bit backwards to what I would normally expect. Obviously, Mira is incredibly powerful on this site like she is on all maps, but I feel like we see more of the Valkyrie than the Mira bans here. I could be totally making that up, but either way, the Valkyrie, the fact that she is still in the mix is notable, right? Those black eye cameras, the amount of intel that she brings to the table. This is something we say every time she is left on the board because it is that important. Despite saying that, I don't know if the Wolves are going to actually end up running her. Instead of the Mozzie Freak 6ing over to the Valkyrie, he's actually going to 6-pick over to the Frost instead. Of course, Frost is quite useful on Gym and Bedroom, but some extra intel I'm sure would also be quite nice to have. As far as the attacking lineup goes, though, they aren't going to be hampered by any bans. They're used to not having the Maverick or the Thatcher to run, and so we're going to see a pretty standard lineup. The double hard breach of the Ace and the Hibana from Gunner and Mr. B respectively, but we've got the Buck in play from Doc, which is always something worth noting because that skeleton key and all that destruction it brings, it can be quite powerful on either of these top floor bomb sites, given that the entire floors of both sites can be torn apart.
Yeah, so I do like the defender lineup. Extending all the way over towards Cash, you know, Frost being very much played on this site in particular because of how important it is concerning those windows. Plenty of utility denial as well for the Wichita Wolves. I mean, 2 ADSs protecting red. I imagine most of those Midas are going to be placed inside of the site so that there's no, there's no lack of coverage here and there. Chess Club, I mean, like you said, bringing technically 3, I guess, hard breachers here, and it doesn't look like they're too concerned with clearing below despite having the Buck, which is a little strange. Gunner is going to already open Jacuzzi Wall, though. The only thing protecting it maybe being a jammer, or maybe Mo decided to put those jammers elsewhere because, I mean, it's pretty much guaranteed that the attackers at some point will open this wall. Now, Barring might come under fire pretty soon. Freak is about to meet the Iana, and we talked about the aggression that Wichita Wolves showing on the last map. Maybe not as easy to do on Clubhouse, but Freak is going to show us that he's going to keep that ball rolling.
Yeah, even on the Frost as well, which is so unusual to see. I think he is finally going to make a quick retreat now that he knows Doc is going to be a little bit worried about that and Chess Club need to slow down a little bit. It does mean, however, that Freak and Reed are stuck on the main stairs. They cannot just walk upstairs for free because Gunner is going to hold that angle with his life, and as if on cue, Freak will try his best to walk up the stairs, and he will get fried instead. Reed does make a quick escape. He gets himself into Logi and now into the site itself, tucking behind a well-placed deployable shield, but again, he's got to be careful of this pressure from below. But despite the aggression from Freak, and despite, all we've talked about Chess Club being forced to slow down, there is still ample time left on the clock for them to get something done. Mr. B, in trying to do so, will get his head taken clean off by Jay, so it's going to be up to these final few attackers to fight in this 3v4.
Finally, the defense or the attack will take that bottom floor. The Buck, though, hasn't done much to dislodge Barring, who is still sitting in bathroom, though his last gas canister has now been employed. Reed holding down the main stairs walk up will get dusted by Doc, but Gunner is immediately traded by Mo coming into Jim. Doc attempting to find this refrag will end up find the mute sprinting, but Barring is there with a shotgun to meet him. That leaves Snake alone. He'll catch the smoke in the back. 1 versus 2 now, but Mo still has C4 in pocket, and Jay is coming in from construction. Make that Mo now lording over Diffuser. Shotgun in hand. This is going to be tough for Snake to try and fight. Good job to destroy that jammer to bait out Mo. And now we up to a 1v1 because Mo decided to peek. Odd decision there from the mute. Snake now has to try and plant, but he's not necessarily going to be stuck in it. So Jay doesn't have the time to bait it out. This is going to be a stick. 1 versus 1 now. Post plant in the favor of the Zofia, but he's hit the prone. This could be an easy pre-fire, and Jay does in fact land it. It comes down to a very close 1v1, but Wichita Wolves still take the first point.
I don't know what it's going to take for the Wolves to learn to stop peeking Snake. I mean, they didn't learn their lesson on Oregon, and Mo clearly didn't learn his lesson on Club either. Of course, Abel, it was a nice shot from Snake. There's no question about that. But the fact that he just decided to peek that angle is puzzling, to say the least. And I know you heard me say stop there, and I apologize for that, but I was just like, guys, you cannot be stepping out and keep swinging Snake. It didn't work for you at all on Oregon. It's not like switching maps is going to suddenly change that. So Snake is clearly still interested in fragging out, but it doesn't seem that he would be able to, get that clutch down on Jim and Bedroom. So Wichita Wolves with an opening pick, courtesy of Freak on the Frost. They will, of course, take the first round. Top floor, successful. Jim and Bedroom going there first is something that we see now and again, but it is consistent with the theme that we saw from the Wolves on Oregon, pulling out some more surprising bomb sites, trying to just use every element of whether that's surprise, take every advantage they could possibly get against this attack, because they know that many people think they're the underdogs. I know, Harrison, you fall into that category, but for those of us who are hard in their corners, right, we know that if they continue to bring that creativity, and if you keep letting Freak run around and just frag out, that is where they're going to find success.
Yeah, big ups to Jay as well for winning that 1v1 against Snake, who has been on a heater since last map. But now we see the Church defense coming out, and we're through and through going to have a roam from the Wichita Wolves. Curiously enough, a roam that doesn't involve a lot of drone denial. You really just have the mute of Mo. There's no visual, there's no Mozzie. Instead, we've got people like the Malusi and the Legion who will try and roam, leaving Jay kind of on his lonesome here as the lone smoke on site. Hopefully someone comes back soon to support him, because a lot of times, you know, with the roams, it's 3 men up, 2 men down. But Chess Club are already going to start breaching in, opening this server plat wall. Fortunately for the mute, you know, the ace jammers can be, or the ace charges can be placed high up to avoid those mute jammers. So whoever's playing, or who was playing in server, has to fall back now to cash. Gunner looking to find maybe a rappel angle over towards that direction, but as Snake starts to come in and take control of Garage, Mo will quickly fall back, and as Sparring tries to go through Swamp, Snake just cuts his head off.
I was going to say that if I'm Chess Club here and I have to clear out a roam with, you know, Freak and Mo and Barring all in the mix, I will be shaking in my boots. But it doesn't seem that Chess Club are shaking in their boots. They're moving in with some pretty solid confidence here, and now Mo is likely to be in quite a bit of trouble any moment now. He's been droned out. Now he's got to take a medium-range fight with the SMG-11 against Snake, who is hunting him down. Doc as well is looking for that fight, and it is Doc, actually, the Buck, who ends up winning it. This roam, this extension from the Wolves, it has come crumbling down, and I think Freak and Reed, are they both going for a top floor retake? They are. Freak will get absolutely slammed, but Reed will at least get something back. He still wants more, though, and he'll get a headshot onto Doc there. Nice shot from him. Jay and Bills will go 1 for 1 down below. So, I mean, technically, Reed still has a fighting chance, but both of these hard breachers, they could approach from anywhere. Reed, he just wants to take these fights. He doesn't want to sit back on the site by himself. In fact, because of that, he is going to be forced to rotate back far too late. Gunner is watching his position, and he never stood a chance from the hatch from above. Excellent attack there from Chess Club. Very nice roam clear. The Wolves just could not fight back there.
Not only was it a good initial clear, but Wichita Wolves very obviously staking too much in the retake, leaving Jay completely alone on site, who goes even with Bills. So not only did Chess Club have a fearsome roam clear, it left the defense in, what was that, a 2 versus 4. Reed gets 2 kills back, but as soon as Jay trades out, or sorry, no, that was actually a 2v5. But as soon as Jay trades out with Bills, that leaves the site woefully unmanned. You can see Mr. B got that call and started sprinting, flying down the main stairs to get that plant underway, because the last time Castle got a kill, it was towards construction. Even then, Gunner, who was there positioned for a cutoff by Stock, dealing damage to the castle, forcing Reed to go for a retake down the blue stairs, and the hatch was open for the ace to play with. Well done to Chess Club. Big misplay by Wichita Wolves to send 2 people up for that flank. You know, I was concerned about Jay being alone on the site in the beginning of the round, and my concerns, you know, ended up being correct. But we are going back down to Church with a very different lineup for the Wolves. They'll still bring the smoke, but that's the only operator staying constant.
Yeah, keeping it loose, keeping it exciting here, bringing out the Bandit as well. So Jay may be trying for, I don't really think there's anywhere to Bandit trick here, just trying to slap those batteries down, likely on that church wall. In part, of course, those Electro Claws banned out, so the batteries favored. But it is good to see them finally bringing out the Valkyrie. We didn't see it from them in the previous rounds, despite highlighting that so much, you know, during that ban phase. And, I mean, it seemed like something that would have helped them on that expeditious clear that Chess Club threw at them. Would have been a little bit of extra intel about where Chess Club had already positioned the map control. They had already, been able to secure because they weren't able to identify Chess Club's positions. We saw how everyone on the Wolves kind of got caught out in an uncomfortable spot, and Chess Club was able to punish them for it. Maybe Mohes can be that remedy. Maybe those black eye cameras can help them in that regard, because Chess Club, they're already working their way in the building, in part on the top floor, going for this top-down approach, but also applying some pressure horizontally at the same time.
Yeah, the clear so far from Chess Club being pretty normal. Doc actually employing the double floor buck that we sometimes see to avoid all of those C4s and ensure he is perfectly safe going for this vertical destruction. That will allow Gunner to ace open the kitchen hatch without fear of any impact tricking. Of course, there are no impact at all on the side of this defense, but, you know, Chess Club just want to make sure. Can't blame him for that. Reed, though, currently ratting out in top secret. They saw someone on the staircase. I don't know if Chess Club, though, have spotted Reed. Mo is still getting kind of aggressive, maybe protecting this Jaeger from drones, but, oh, the Iana clone, I think, just saw that. Jaeger, no, it didn't! Reed gets a freebie, no, can't get the second, lights up Bills, but is still traded out.
I have no idea how the clone didn't spot out the Jaeger. I guess the clone was reaching the end of its life, and so Bills just didn't quite get that bit of intel. That would have certainly, you know, saved Snake's life, a player who you really want when it comes down to these execute situations, not only because the sheer amount of bullets the Zofia can just lay down range, but of course, Snake has been just so clutch in situations like these in the past. But we're in an even 4v4. This is absolutely doable for either team right now. Of course, Chess Club is a little bit more lit up. It's just Bills who's taken quite a bit of damage so far, but Chess Club, they're approaching from, you know, several different positions right now. They've got Gunner on the kitchen hatch. He'll collect a kill onto Freak, but not before Mo took the fight and took down Bills. Mo takes down Doc as well. Mr. B really wants to get one back here just in the middle of Arsenal. Doesn't have the diffuser in hand, and that's going to be a serious problem. If Barring goes for this swing, he'll be able to stop this planter because he is already advanced. Gunner can't quite catch him out, but Mr. B will take the fight and win it. Jay gets the trade, though, so Gunner now has to drop down in a last-ditch effort to recover the round. Will not pay off. The Wolves take round 3.
And that's a 3K for Mohes. Well done to him. Well done to Wichita Wolves. Reed starting things off with that early pick, and things just kind of spiraled away from there. Sure, Gunner got the kill through the hatch, but Mo is still holding down blue, killed Bills, takes a different fight with Doc, and kills the Buck, who looked like he dropped Case in sight, right? Because you saw that, right?
Yeah.
When Mr. B dropped down and didn't have Case, it was in dark spot. Doc must have just dropped in, assuming his teammates would cover, and unfortunately, well, they weren't able to. Mo had that long angle from blue to kill him. Sure, Mr. B, you know, started getting that bomb down, and the smoke of Barring died, but Jay was there for a very quick refrag, and, well, Gunner's not likely to survive just a hatch drop under the watchful eye of 2 different guns. Wichita Wolves now with 2 points, and they will go back up to gym where they initially started things off, although it was very close. It was absolutely a round that could have gone either way.
One more thing about that last round, though. I think it was Gunner on the hatch coverage. The fact that he couldn't get the kill onto Barring. I mean, had he gotten the kill onto the smoke, who just kind of walked out of Dirt Tunnel, a position that Gunner is tasked with covering, by the way. Had he gotten that kill, I think it's a very different story, because Mr. B was actually the one to kill Barring from point-blank range. But because Mr. B had to expose himself and swing that angle, he was quickly traded right back by Jay, and then Gunner was left alone. It was a very different situation we're looking at. If Gunner is looking at the right angle at the right time, the one that his teammate needs him desperately to cover, then we could have seen that one turn to a 2v2. The bomb's going down, you've got the coverage from above, and then the Wolves, I mean, it doesn't seem like they've got much of a chance at that point. But of course, that didn't happen. Only hypotheticals at this point, because the Wolves were able to secure that round, and now they'll be moving on, like you said, Harrison, back to gym to secure another. This was a round where Freak was aggressive. They got an opening pick, and they leveraged that to the best they could. Once again, it came down to Snake in the end. Chess Club, if they can just tidy up their entry, if they can make this round 4 entry look like the round 2 entry, this story for the Wolves will be much, much different.
Yeah, they've already opened that plat wall since it's left soft. Their first target is going to have to be Jay, holding top red. He'll be full blind, but not for long. Nearly able to get the kill outside construction window. Reed needs proper coverage, but no. He'll completely ignore the LMG slinking into server, but Jay is quick with the refrag onto Mr. B. A second down the steps. Big play to this Wamai, looking for another, but no. Finally cut down. It ends up being a 2 for 2 on this roam clear. Not too much utility used for the attack. You still got Gunner with necessary hard breach, Snake with 2 shots out of that lifeline, and of course Doc still has hard breach gadgets, but it did cost them half the round.
Yeah, relatively even trade. I think that's a pretty good comparison. But yeah, the time is really what Chess Club are losing out on here. And yes, a little bit of HP as well, but Mo has also slightly been lit up. And so the remainder of this defense is likely to just bunker down and wait for Chess Club to get something done. Now they have to decide, where are they going to approach from? Are they going to have Gunner use those Selmas and try to approach from that Jacuzzi side? Or is it going to be this Logi push because Freak is standing in their way? Freak has also put himself in a very dangerous position, stuck between a rock and a hard place, and he will fight his way out. He gets 2. There's one more Snake behind him, sneaking through in Logi. Not sure if Freak knows this, but it simply doesn't matter now because it's Wichita Wolves in a 3v1 thanks to Freak's just god-tier skills. Snake now really wants to take this fight. So do the Wolves, as they will swing him from every angle at once. They're still not learning their lesson about Snake. Freak won't, so he'll die. And now Snake will have even better of a shot. Barring, he'll sneak around from behind, though, and he'll take Snake down. The Wolves really like to swing this player, and it does not rub me the right way. But you know what? They've won the rounds, so props to them.
Yeah, they also had a shield to play around by that rotate, so not completely on bar. He was making an informed decision there, but that was down to the cash hold, especially Jay playing towards red, getting not only the Hibana, your primary hard breacher, but the Iana as well, an operator who has a plethora of info at her disposal, as well as nades and a Gone 6. Sure, Chess Club get those trades, but they decide to put all their eggs into the Logi basket, something that doesn't work out because Freak slips under their noses, slips right by the info, makes a surprise play, not only killing Gunner, but also catching I believe the buck. Yeah, the buck of Doc mid-drop through the hatch. That was unfortunate timing there for Chess Club. Whether or not Doc went to go for the trade or whether they thought Logi was clear, either way, ended up doing them in, and Wichita Wolves, of course, all they have to do is take that 2v1 against Snake to win it. Now it's 3-1 for the Wolves, a scoreline that we saw on Oregon before the Wolves extended it to 4-1. They'll be looking to do so on Cash, a site that they're now defending for the first time.
Yeah, usually we'll see this site a bit sooner in the round, but in the map. But Wichita Wolves, they have elected to go gym and basement. That has been the only 2 sites we've seen from them up to now. And what's that little cheeky drone spot from Gunner? He can see 2, 3. He just sees everybody running around on this bottom floor, so he knows exactly what he's dealing with. He also knew that Freak was likely to open up that door and throw a cam outside, but given that they did spot Freak, detected outdoors, they should be able to deal with that cam at some point. Good to see, though, that Freak is now taking up the role of the Valkyrie, and they are maintaining the use of those black eye cameras. Turns out they don't know where this camera is positioned, and that means that these garage players, these on-site players, will know exactly what's going on outside and when. Mo does need to be careful, though. He doesn't have the, best gun for this range of engagement, so he'll just be wary of swinging this and use whatever intel he can before he gets into an engagement.
Interesting that the player in Rafters is the bandit of Mo, not actively tricking, just kind of leaving his bandit batteries on the wall. Gunner, of course, is going to spot those. It's the only thing that could be stopping it, and the nade will clear it immediately. So Gunner, he'll go ahead and open plat. Now, there is another bandit battery on the single panel of garage that's reinforced next to the head holes. So, that Rafters player can't be pressured out by any more ranged hard breach, but Mo is just going to die instead to Gunner peeking through the window. Unfortunate there for the bandit. The entire position he tried to protect going down so easily. Doc, the next to find a kill. Freak in bottom garage, going to line up 1 and a second. Beautiful headshots for the Valkyrie, completely taking the round back in his team's favor, but Gunner is there for another response. This time on the barring. At least Freak and Jay alone. 2 gas canisters and 1 C4. The last defender's names. Diffuser is dropped in garage, now picked up by Doc. There is a player in lounge, but not to be blindsided by Freak. And Doc with the last kill using that long angle. Chess Club able to take another round, preventing the same 4-1 scoreline we saw in Oregon.
Impressive, 180 there from Bills, kind of just whipping around and taking down Freak, who was working his way back up from Secret. Valiant effort there from Freak, trying to get the job done there in Garage. Successfully got the job done and then snuck away, but just could not put the entire team on his shoulders. But as much as I was complimenting the intel that the Wolves had at their disposal with that camera outside Garage, we also saw the cheeky little drone from Gunner that he placed in the early round that allowed them to also have equally powerful intel about what was going on in Garage. They knew when I think Mo ran down to peek out the garage door. It looked like he was tempting a run out, but he went back up rafters, and because there was a call that they saw him go back up rafters, I think Gunner, he turned to face that angle. He had the drone in the right position, and so he was able to take down the bandit and get that opening fight going the way of Chess Club. So turns out we see a little bit why the Wolves have been avoiding CCTV and cash thus far. Of course, they were forced to go to it after back-to-back basement and gym victories, but now they can head back down to the basement for their final defensive round.
And the basement has been a bit of a toss-up. Lost it the first time, won it the second thanks to a 3K from Mo. They're still kind of employing maybe a light roam, but I mean, we didn't see much of a roam last time. It was mainly on site with kind of just Reed in Secret, who I don't suppose will be able to do the same play again and catch those attackers off guard. And, well, now he'll definitely not be able to do it as he just dies through the secret window.
Yeah, early fights now going the way of Chess Club. Their intel game really tidying up here, and it doesn't seem that the Wolves are compensating for it quite enough in terms of their positioning, in terms of the decision-making of taking these early engagements, of rotating around the map, or just sitting still. Freak is the next defender to potentially come under fire from a clear from Chess Club that has been tenacious, to say the least. He is yet to be fully disturbed or forced out, but now that Doc is droning out this jacuzzi side as the buck, we can expect that skeleton key to open up that jacuzzi wall in no time. Freak really wants to take fights. He's done a great job at shutting down early attackers, but right now he hasn't even seen anybody just yet.
And Freak looks like he's about to catch one. Snake has no idea this could be an easy one, but no. Freak doesn't pull the trigger. The angle is too slim. He's got pings. No one's covering this Zoe, and Snake will not be blindsided? What? Freak had... I'm lost for words. I don't even know what to say. That was the freest kill of Freak's life. And, I mean, Freak almost never whiffs. But the one thing we know about him is while those whiffs are extremely rare, when he whiffs, oh boy, is it bad. Case in point. And now he's going to get Claymored. Oh my god.
This took a turn. This took quite a turn, because now what could have been a miracle play from Freak has now turned into a complete disaster on the site below. It is Jay and Barring just all they can do is pray at this point. Snake takes down Barring, and Mr. B quickly follows up onto Jay. And what could have been a victorious defensive half from the Wolves turned into just an utter disaster in that final defensive round, and they'll end up only getting the 3 rounds to Chess Club's 3 on the attack as well. So we're all tied up going into the second half.
I can't believe that's how that ended. After Freak, I mean, he had pings. Snake wasn't even looking at him. And he misses every single imaginable shot before Snake even turns around. That's the kicker. And then after that, he's forced to walk away. He eventually gets Claymored. Mo just straight up peeks kitchen hatch and dies. And then the site just goes to hell. I am astounded by the way that round turned out, and that'll end up being an even half. We're at 3 apiece now. Chess Club move on to their defense. They'll go down to Church, immediately start roaming. They've got the Valkyrie at their disposal, figuring that they can get aggressive off of this info, bringing the Vigil that we didn't see Wichita Wolves use at all, curiously enough. Combined with the Mute means there's going to be a lot more drone denial at their disposal. Wichita Wolves, on the other hand, as opposed to Ace, are bringing Hib and Thermite now. I think Thermite, the more commonly used breaching operator here. Sledge instead of Buck as well, so you got a set of nades, but none others. So, only one set of nades for each of these two teams, only with different operators. The one I want to focus on, though, is Freak on the Jackal. Use as much drone denial as you want, but if your footprints get spotted, you could very well be the attack's next victim.
Well, and that may be actually made even easier because there is no castle. A roam setup that generally benefits from those armor panels that really help someone like Doc, the Vigil, hold down bar much more safe. I don't even know what I'm saying at this point. I'm just dying. Safelier. That is not a word. The point is, and I think you understood it despite the massive blunder, is that Doc is not going to be safe for long. If Freak can spot him out, he doesn't have those castle barricades to support him. So, Freak will be making this entry up above initially, and Snake will be the first player he has to contend with, and that is a terrifying prospect. But sensing some pressure, Snake will back off. Bills as well, potentially. We could see him rotate down the red stairs if Barring enters the building here.
If he enters the building, that is, he'll finally open the barricade into stock and make his presence known. The Malusi right around the corner will win the fight. Wow, Bills surviving with barely any HP, still gets the opener onto the Zofia. Again, the entry star for this team. He had a really good last map, 13-8, top-rated player in the lobby, but he has really yet to heat up. He's 2-6 on our second map. It hasn't been quite the same showing, and that could be a reason why Wichita Wolves have been struggling a bit.
We haven't really seen everything click from them in a while. Yeah, you're getting a couple of cool frags here. Freaks made a play, but it's just not meshing like it was on Oregon, like in these first few rounds of Clubhouse as well. And now that they're in a 4v5, that cohesiveness is even more essential. Bills is going for a bit of a rat play here in Oil Pit, and Freak is not going to contest directly that way, but if he does work his way down Secret and eventually pressures Blue, still, he'll be vulnerable to the Malusi coming in from behind. The rest of this attack, though, they're very spread out right now. Jay is worried about using that breaching hammer, establishing these angles from above. Reed and Mo are just trying to open up more hatches and get a couple more angles to work with, maybe a couple of more approaches to possibly make on this site. But right now, they're just running in circles. They don't know exactly where the best approach is going to be.
Mo can nearly spot the Legion of Mr. B, but the operator for now will avoid his line of sight. Mr. B still covering the angle, does a little bit of damage, but under the cover of flashbangs, in comes the Hibana, shooting the C4 out of midair as well, but his teammates all falling around him allow the defenders to retake into the site, and all the attacking progress has now been nullified. That's a nice shot from Reed, but it's very short-lived. Gunner finishes him, and it's now the lead for Chess Club.
Yeah, first lead we've seen them take all series long, and just based on the way that they're playing, it does feel like a lead that they're going to be more than happy to extend in the next few rounds unless the Wolves can get it together. I honestly wouldn't mind seeing them take a timeout right now. Of course, it is only one round into their attacking half, but say they lose this next one, it'll be a great time to regroup, think things over. Oh, hey! Turns out they will, as if on cue. They are going to take that timeout because it does feel like we are seeing the momentum really shift towards the side of Chess Club. Formerly, we saw the dominance of the Wolves shine through, and now it is Chess Club who are really just having their way with this map. That's back-to-back rounds where they have looked really strong.
Yeah, and it's down to Wichita Wolves not doing a great job of getting kills. Initially, right, in that last Church defense from the Wolves, Freak missed some really easy shots, and then no one else from the Wichita Wolves was able to fight back after that, and we just saw on that Church attack, sure, the Wichita Wolves had a decent-ish setup, but it was kind of all coming from the same direction. They put everyone over towards the kitchen hatch with one player dirt. That is all the control that Wichita had to speak of, and unfortunately, we're not able to find any frags until it was a 1v5. So that's kind of been the story through these last couple rounds. Chess Club certainly look like they are starting to heat up, losing their shades of Oregon the more that Clubhouse goes on. So hopefully this timeout is going to allow Wichita Wolves to recollect themselves, get their confidence back up, maybe play a little bit more together, because what you can lack, sometimes what people lack in Gunso, you can compensate for in just good teamwork and trades. There's going to be Jim now for Chess Club, of course, bringing that Frost, bringing a lot more shields. Well, not a lot more shields, only 2 in total, but they'll be protected, of course, by the Jaeger as well. Now, curiously, despite having 2 shields, and despite, obviously Jim defenses relying on either a cache extension with a shield or a construction hold with, again, a shield, all Chess Club have to defend it with is that Jaeger. No Aruni or Wamai to speak of.
Right, and it's a balancing act, right? That you kind of have to deal with every time you decide to bring a deployable shield setup, because it's great to have a lot of shields, but it's also great to have a ton of projectile denial. The goal of shields, right? You have a great place to play behind, but you also want to waste time and waste utility, and what's better for wasting utility than a shield that is properly supported by those projectile denial gadgets? And only the presence of those Jaeger and those ADSs, it does mean that theoretically the Wolves could clear out those shields rather quickly. A lot of map to clear out, though, working your way in from that. Wow, wait, what? Did Bills try to peek that, or did Freak just get lucky?
I have no idea.
Either way,
it doesn't look like his body is close enough.
No, that's brutal. If that's the case, I think Bills may have just been crossing, and that is a very lucky spray from Freak, and maybe that's what the Wolves needed to get them back on their feet.
Yeah, opening kill. Bills, after all, was the person last round who just walked on Barring. Well, all right, never mind. Barring is still going to die anyway, to Gunner, holding B1. So what was a good start for Wichita is now back to even man count. They've lost their Zofia, who is attempting to come in from below, maybe, clearing bathroom using impacts from below or what have you. But at least Jay is still down there. He can send some nades upwards. No one, I don't think, from the defense is exposed to them, considering Doc is in construction and Mr. B is in the hallway. So, both indestructible from below. Reed placing his exothermic charge will evade the jammer's radius. So the jacuzzi breach now open. That means Doc and Mr. B are back in the site and susceptible to those nades from below.
Now, speaking of, one nade is going to ring through, just light up Doc. He'll relocate, and Freak will nearly finish him off, but no headshot, only several body shots, meaning that Doc is still a force. Gunner goes for the aggressive peek on the CC window, and he'll get punished very quickly for it, but Freak will also fall at the hands of Snake. Doc is on a sliver of HP, as low as you could possibly get, but he'll be assisted by 2 teammates, so this is essentially still a 3v3 situation. With 60 seconds to work with, the Wolves could still approach from either the Logi construction side or that jacuzzi side, or honestly, a little bit of both. And Chess Club, they're going to have to find themselves in the right spots to defend this, because Jay may be looking to go for a little bit of surprise. He'll be spotted out by the Banshee, though. So both Snake and Mr. B should have heard that sound cue, and they should know somebody is working their way up the main stairs. But the rest of this attack, trying to get this crossfire going with that main stairs player, they're just going to push in jacuzzi.
And they're going to blind themselves, meaning that the rush in is not going to be nearly as fast. Reed gets caught by the shotgun, could be a second on the board, and yes, Snake takes out Jay on the main stairs. Mr. B finishes the round. Chess Club now 2 defenses in a row. I gotta say, if only Freak was still alive, or if only Jay still had a nade in pocket, that would have been a much easier take through bathroom, because that jammer was still there, and, well, Wichita Wolves had nothing to deal with it. Mr. B was happy to sit in there, not flushed out at all. Should those X-Kairos have gone off, not only did Mr. B not be able to play in bathroom, maybe even dying to that position, opening up way more opportunities for Wichita Wolves, but he stepped up where it mattered because his hole was not opened. 2 kills with the shotgun, and Chess Club now up 5-3.
It's a shame that flashing yourself can have such severe consequences, but especially when you're going to pop that flashbang right as you push in and you're committing to that push. You find yourself stuck in a hallway where a shotgun would absolutely tear you apart, and that's exactly what happened thanks to Mr. B. So another great defense from Chess Club. This unwavering Chess Club that we have now seen for what that is 3-4 rounds in a row. It is something that the Wolves have really yet to get under control. There's been a glimmer of hope here and there, but aside from that, it is Chess Club much better with these opening duels, catching the Wolves off guard, playing some aggressive positions like Gunner in that last round, the Goyo down in B1. Barring had no idea that was coming, but because of that, Barring is now 2-7. Freak is 6-8. Mo is yet to go positive. Everyone on the Wolves is negative right now. Definitely a contributing factor to why we're seeing them struggle so much now.
Yeah, it's unfortunate to see after how well Oregon was going for them, but we'll see if they'll be able to successfully attack Cash. There is someone lurking underneath by Secret. Freak has a couple tiny holes in the barricade. A Snake lurking down there, the resident top frag in the lobby, 12-5, echoing maybe even a greater scoreline than we saw on Oregon. Mo is sitting right next to the window. I wonder if Snake might actually be able to see him through the slits in the barricade, but the Hibon will now get off the drone, likely rappel up the plat wall, but no, he's just holding the angle. These players really want to pinch him, but wow, what a shot, and 2 for Snake. Jay and Mo both dusted, and a 3rd for him as Freak hits the floor, looking for a 4th, can't contest over the shield, finally dies to Freak, but the Finka nearly getting traded out. Barring's the next to die. Freak now finds himself alone in a 1v4 as Snake goes huge with 3 in Secret.
That is a yikes from the Wolves, who failed to shoot a single player sitting in a corner. Of course, the single player hitting some nasty shots. Really good game sense from Snake. Just also some nice aim as well. Tearing the Wolves apart. Now putting Freak into an impossible situation. Yeah, he's almost back up to 50 HP thanks to the Finka boost, but he's got to fight against 4 defenders who are going to be much smarter than they've been so far this game. They're just going to sit back and wait. They're going to play this one passive. They know what they're working with, what Freak isn't working with, and honestly, for Freak's sake, I really think it's better to take another, essential minute timeout. You've got 60 seconds to think this one over. You've got to take the next 3 rounds in a row. Otherwise, this is another map a map that's going to Chess Club, and you've got to fight your way on that decider. And just the way that this momentum is swinging, the way that this is going right now, every single frag going the way of this Chess Club defense, I would not want to go onto a frag-heavy map like Chalet with the momentum so off balance like this.
And it's been, that round was rough. Snake, huge props to the hold in Secret. Beautifully done. Popping up, getting Jay because Jay shot. You can see Snake had no idea Jay was there until Jay shot an alibi clone. He was getting pinged by that alibi. And so Jay gets dusted. Snake already aware of Mo by the window, figuring, hey, this Hibana's probably going to go for the trade. All I need to do is pre-fire. Getting the 3rd as well. It was so surprising. I don't even remember where the 3rd guy was. It was incredible. Freak, finally got the trade, but Barring died, and that left Freak alone. He was barely any HP, and every single person, all Wichita Wolves gained from 4 deaths was Secret. They couldn't take him through construction. They didn't have rafters. They didn't even have plat wall open. That's how little progress they made with 4 deaths. And if Chess Club end this map right here and now, then it's a flip of the script. I'm now really concerned for Wichita Wolves.
Yeah.
Because if Chess Club end this right here and now, hell, even if Wichita Wolves take the next round and then Chess Club wins 7-4, this map has felt way more in favor of Chess Club than Oregon did for Wichita.
I will agree. I will absolutely second that. And I think, the timeout, that could have been the Wolves' chance to get the momentum back on their side, but it's only gotten worse from then, hasn't it? They've just gotten cold. The players we saw stepping up on Oregon are not stepping up in the same way, and where the coordination issues they had on Oregon, those aren't fully resolved yet. They're still, just not displaying the pack mentality that we know them so well for. And it's cost them. It really has. They are now down 3 rounds, like once again on match point, and just terrifying to head to Chalet with things so off kilter. They'll be looking.
It's Chalet.
Yeah, it's Chalet, right? That's brutal if things stay the same.
Yeah, especially, a team, teams like Wichita Wolves Academy, teams like Chess Club on Chalet. Oh, I would not want to be the guy going up against that. But I mean, hey, Wichita Wolves, they've got a chance for a comeback. They got to win 3 rounds in a row, though, as Jay now works above Kitchen with that sledge. There might be a C4 with his name on it, though, as Gunnar is poised to throw that to the ceiling and catch this sledge unaware. Finally, the explosive will go up, and now it's the waiting game for Gunnar, daring someone to walk over that section of the floorboard. Jay might be tempting fate here as he now slams into the floorboards, but no C4 from Gunnar. It's much too late. Could have been an easy opening kill, but Gunnar lets it slip through his fingers.
Yeah, maybe no. I guess we already saw that camera get shot out, so he was just playing off of sound calls, just off of when that floor ended up getting opened up, and unfortunately just off the mark, and that's going to give the Wolves a second opportunity in this round. Good shot there from Baring, taking the life of Gunnar. Snake also fell just a moment ago, so the Wolves have turned this one into a 5v3 in their favor. Freak is already downstairs, taking this fight in moto, losing that one, of course, to Bills, but here comes the rest of the team now to support that position, opening up this church wall. That's Reed, also throwing a couple of flashes in, now trying to cover the swing and just barely getting that kill onto Bills. Doc and Mr. B will also fall in those last few seconds, so the Wolves begin what could be a bit of a comeback here, and they will get their first of 3.
And with, Gunnar and Snake dead very early on, it was the real test for the rest of Chess Club to step up and join the top 2 players of the team, but unfortunately, they really did not have much of a chance. Bills got 1, but the next 3 swings all went the way of Wichita Wolves. And that was kind of the story of that round. It was just Chess Club overexposing themselves, Wichita Wolves being given those gunfights and winning them more times than they lost. Now we go up to Jim for Chess Club. Now they won this site in the previous attempt pretty handedly. And they've got to do it again, bringing the same operator lineup. Hopefully, Wichita Wolves have a bit more utility to deal with the bathroom this time.
Got to save that utility for the late round. That has been the Wolves' problem on several occasions, but as you said, especially when pushing into that bathroom position. It was, relatively even at that point. It was a, 2v3 scenario? Honestly, it was a 3v3, I think, when they tried to push in. And even though one of those Chess Club defenders was incredibly low on HP, Doc was like a breath of HP, because they couldn't simply push out bathroom. They didn't have the nades for it. It became a daunting task just to get in through that jacuzzi breach. And they're going to have to figure out how to do that again. They're not going super creative in terms of the operator selection. They're not going to bring any more frag grenades than they have in the past. You've got Jay on the sledge with 2 nades. You've got Freak on the Finca with 2 nades. But other than that, you're prioritizing the hard destruction. You've got Baring on the Zofia, who also really needs to step up. The Wolves have been avoiding going for the full cache clear. Last time, obviously, we saw that they kept losing those opening duels, and that is not going to make clearing out the other side of the map any easier. But I honestly would like to see them try to contest into that head-on. If they can clear out this extension early, I suspect that when it comes down to that site push, they'll have a much easier time.
I definitely agree with you there, as Mo now goes and opens the single panel wall. Actually, that's weird. The top of the single panel wall? I guess avoiding the mute jammer, if anything. Can't necessarily move through it, though. Reed is just trying to figure the optimal placing for his thermite charge. Unfortunately, that is not it. He's still going to have to try again. That should work, though. At the very top of the wall. There we go. So, they'll end up breaching plat all the way on the left side of things. That forces the Jaeger back towards red. Freak now on the balcony teaming with Mo. to try and flush any players out and get some freebies into the master bedroom if possible. This is a dangerous position for Mo, though. Last time, we saw him kind of backed off covering the window for Freak. Now he's on the balcony with his teammate. If that server window pops up, that could be a dangerous proposition, but what a throw from Freak, landing right at the feet of Bills. That is a much-needed opening pick for the Wolves.
That is a well-placed grenade, and Reed's going to follow that up with a nice shot onto Mr. B. Gunner's been taken care of from Jay, and very quickly, the Wolves are off to a tremendous start. It's just Doc and Snake left. Snake with 15, Doc with 8. Two big gunners in this lobby right now, but the Wolves do have a tremendous advantage. They cannot let this slip away, though, as Mohesi falls. Snake will take his life as he drops through the Logi hatch, or at least attempts to, but dead before his body even hits the floor. So they're going to have to get a hold of these defenders, and a nice shot from Freak as well will take his life, but Snake counters it with a beautiful shot of his own. They've got the pings onto these final few players, but it doesn't matter because Reed will hit the shot just before he goes down. The Wolves take 2 in a row, only 1 round away from overtime.
Again, down to fights for Wichita Wolves. They were actively searching for them, and they were given them. First, starting off with that nade from Freak. I mean, beautifully placed. That was simply incredible. I don't even know, was that, I think that went into like the gold rotate or something, where Bills was maybe the master doorway into the hallway. Either way, beautiful first pick, followed up by another kill, I believe from outside the breach by Barring. Also, spotting Snake over towards the cache side of things means that Wichita Wolves knows there's someone off site. They start to pressure. They do so successfully again and again. We saw Chess Club taking fights, trying to bring the man count back in their favor, and every time they did so, Wichita Wolves would be victorious. So they are starting to heat up, and look at this. It's 6-5 right now. We're 1 round away from OT, and only a single player on Wichita Wolves is positive. That is not a sight you often see.
But they have stepped up in these last few rounds, right? If you just look at the stats from the last 2 rounds alone, their stats are probably gorgeous because they have been moving in and taking gunfights, and just, it seems like the confidence has ramped up a little bit. It's just got to stay the same here for this last match point. They need to stay on point and stay with the good, initial droning, those initial gunfights, because when we see them falter in those initial engagements, it seems that nothing can go their way after that. They are going to have to clear out this entire map if they do opt for that approach and opt to hunt down these roamers. We're back to the basement site, and we are going to see a fledged extension here from Chess Club, but Bills is already done with. Freak will just walk in the garage door, take out the Malusi who was trying to rotate up the red stairs, and this is a tremendous start. Also taking down that operator who provides the cutoff, that kind of last-ditch player over in secret. The Wolves do have the opportunity here to not clear out this entire extension if they want to go more direct. Reed will still open this platform wall, but he's backed off, and here comes this push down on the bottom floor. Mo will get one. Mr. B trades one back, now 2 back. Reed unable to get the refrag just yet. Now an even 3v3 shotgun, far too long range, so Barring will win that. Snake cut off from the site. Gunner way upstairs. The Wolves have stepped up, and it is working beautifully.
And this shield is in their favor because both these defenders were last seen towards blue. Reed able to get the plant down. AKs, meaning they can hold a post plant from dirt. And as Freak finds Gunner, it leaves Snake alone. He has been huge for this team. He's got 18 kills, but he'll have to drop 20 if he wants to win this round. And it is not to be. Freak with a big 3K means that we are going to overtime.
Beautiful. Beautiful round there from the Wolves, and as I predicted, right, with the kill onto Bills, the Wolves knew they had an opportunity. They had an option, and what they did that was so smart that we do see a lot of teams doing these days is faking the top floor clear, just applying some pressure to that platform wall. You put that exothermic charge down, and that is going to freeze every defender on that top floor in place. They know the clear's coming, or at least they think they know the clear's coming, so someone like Snake is going to stay upstairs and cache for a little bit longer. That, of course, is until the full flood in from Dirt and Blue ends up just overwhelming the site. He's forced to fall back, but it is a little too late to actually make an impact. He wasn't able to get back in time to deny the plant with that C4. He had to just fight it out with an SMG-11 in a post-plant situation, and that is just not an easy situation for even someone of Snake's caliber, who is dropping 18 right now. Just going absolutely nuts, looking for those 20 kills, and the fact that now we're in overtime, that is a distinct possibility that that's going to happen.
And you can see, too, right? There were some words of encouragement from Freak, from the opposite team, saying, we believe in you, Snake. We're rooting for you, bro. You got this. Because he's dropping 18. None of his other teammates are above 10 kills, and we are in overtime. I mean, look at the kill disparity between Chess Club and Wichita Wolves. I mean, just without doing the math, just looking at a quick glance, if we want to actually tally it up, I mean, 18, 26, 35, 40, 46 kills for Chess Club. Meanwhile, it's 14, 21, 34, only 39 for Wichita Wolves. That is an incredible disparity. And yet we're still in overtime. If that doesn't scream that Siege isn't just about kills and that fragging power won't always win you the day, I don't know what is.
I gotta say, I'm impressed with your quick math. That was good, high stakes math, and you got it done. And you're right.
Thank you.
It is a pretty big gap, especially that we are all tied up in overtime with the Wolves, dominating in the last 3 rounds. One would expect that to be a little bit closer, but the Wolves still have some ground to make up in terms of those kills. But now the ground they're focused on taking is going to be, I suspect, this top floor control. You've seen Barring open up that platform wall with a Zofia Impact, trying to lock down any rotation through CCTV. Reed sending a drone in just to make sure it's clear, but this is a slow approach from the Wolves. They're pretty far away from actually being able to push into the map. Finally, Barring has actually come to the platform itself and is now in the building, but it's taken them quite some time, and they haven't, now they're finally starting to take these engagements. The first one, Barring onto Bills, that'll go the Wolves' way. Freak onto Snake, that goes orange as well, and we are now sitting in a position where the Wolves are just... their momentum is tremendous. Snake is gone here in a 5v3 with now 90 seconds to go. Despite the slow start, they have picked it up in a big way, and now we are looking at what could be a tough round for the Chess Club to pull back.
Unfortunate for Snake dying early. You can even see Freak was disappointed that Snake died, saying man in the chat after he was the one who killed him, and that leaves Chess Club 3 versus 5, leading to the last minute. Jay, still plenty of time to work the vertical and use his nades. Freak, still with full utility as well. I believe the first boost now being used. Yep, the first one. He's still got 2 in pocket. Wichita Wolves have so much going in their favor, so much control. Mo, I believe in Dirt. Freak now bottom main. Players coming in from blue. Moto Hatch might be open as well. Mo now flashing in behind box 3, stunning these players out. But Gunner, still a kill onto Freak. No trade for Mo just yet. Being choked out by the gas forces him into an engagement, but lands a double with the bearing 9. Beautiful from Mo. Now it's just Mr. B. He'll be able to take 1, drop the diffuser, but it's Mo for 3. Wichita Wolves with the first point in overtime.
And 4 rounds in a row. We saw the first 4 rounds of Clubhouse go back and forth, and then Chess Club say, you know what, it's our turn. They take 5 rounds unanswered. The Wolves sitting at 6-3. It's match point for Chess Club. They've got to make a stand, and they make the biggest stand possible. 4 rounds in a row right after. It's been a beautiful turnaround for the Wolves. It came out of nowhere, Harrison, because they were looking lost. 4 of them died to Snake in secret. That is an unacceptable error that shocks the mental beyond belief. Yet they come back from that round, and they storm ahead to take 4 rounds completely unanswered. Now they are the ones sitting on match point. They have regained the lead, something they have not held since round 5. And we could see them very well take this series in 2 unless Chess Club can make a stand here and now. Wichita, they're going to Gym, a site that they have a 100% win rate on here tonight in round 1 and round 4. Success on this Gym site really characterized by good early engagements, and then when eventually Chess Club push in, just staying strong in the clutch.
I know Chess Club's clubhouse, Chess Clubhouse has felt so much in their favor up until that one fateful church defense. It really felt like Chess Club's map. Like, if we went to map 3, it was Chess Club's game, like, all the way home, whatever. But Wichita Wolves, ever since that round, mounting a 4-round comeback, it has been like a flip of the switch. This is a completely different Wichita Wolves than we saw earlier in this map. Maybe even a different one than we saw in Oregon. Because remember, those rounds, a lot of them were not all that confident. You know, Chess Club still felt like they had a bit to say in terms of that lobby. But, ooh, this is interesting from Wichita Wolves. Doubling up their jammers on Jacuzzi Wall, making it a lot tougher for Gunner to find that sweet spot that he can actually breach. But Snake finds his entry into Mo. Nearly a second no. Freak trades him out, but here's Bills not far behind, meaning it's an early one-man advantage for Chess Club.
Yeah, Freak gets one, but then gets a little bit complacent, and so Bills is able to find that trade, and Chess Club are putting quite a bit of focus into this downstairs clear, and it is worth that focus because now it is a 4v2. They have decimated the off-site presence of this defense, and despite the promise that the Wolves have had on this site so far this map, they decide to get a little bit too creative, a little bit too fancy with it, and it punishes them in a huge way. You've got Barring and Jay, the last two standing. You've got, yeah, some impacts, a couple of mine magnets, and 3 smokes. But with the minute and a half that these 4 attackers have to work with and all the utility in the world, it is unlikely that the Wolves can pull this off. It's going to take quite a comeback in this round now that these Selma charges are finally going off on this Jacuzzi Wall. Now that utility dump is going to come in, forcing Jay to back off, and that is going to free that second Selma, allowing it to detonate. The mute jammer gone, meaning Jay has to relocate.
Like you said, not only all the utility in the world, but all the info as well. Look at how many drones are still up, but Jay looking to change that. Fries Mr. B, drops 2 drones that he still had in pocket, opening the castle barricade, looking to surprise another, but unable to catch Bills off guard. Leaves Barring in a 1v3, but he's caught sprinting, now stuck inside of Cash. The attack knows exactly where he is, and there's not a lot he can do to stop this plan. He'll send out a gas canister towards Logi in pure desperation, but his angle's being watched over towards construction. The plant will go down, and they're even getting aggressive. Gunner ends up trading with Barring after getting the plant, and now we're sent to max OT round 15 to decide who wins Clubhouse.
Yeah, this one could still go either way. With that blow, Chess Club have finally stopped the bleeding, stopped the streak that the Wolves were able to put together, and Gunner has stepped it up in a big way as well. We were talking about Snake being the only player in double digits. Gunner has finally reached that 11 kill mark, getting a couple of kills in that round. And now, you know, I think the Wolves, they're going to be typing a little bit less in chat about how Snake is doing all the work on the side of Chess Club, because these players are starting to step up. Snake was, in fact, the first death of Chess Club in that round, and they were still able to put together a very cohesive execute with just as many frags as they would have if Snake was still in the fight. He's 1 kill off 20. He's been relatively quiet in overtime, only getting 1 kill between the last 2 rounds, but here is his chance to shine. Chess Club, they're on the defense again. They've been obviously on and off in terms of success, and they're going to make a surprising choice, actually. And they're going to head to CCTV and Cash, a site they only brought out once during their attack, and they won it at once as well. So they're going to try to make this one happen, but it does seem like the site that both of these teams have agreed is the hardest to defend on this map.
Yeah, like you said, Chess Club have only brought it once. They did win it once, but it was down to Snake 3K'ing in secret. And I don't know if that's gonna happen again. I'm gonna take a wild, educated guess and say that doesn't happen twice. I mean, it could. Wichita Wolves are, not great, but oh no,
dude.
Oh no, Snake going for an aggressive play, peeking out the billiards window. He'll get clapped by Freak. Freak just as disappointed now as I am. Chess Club have lost their star player instantly in what might be the most important round of this map.
You've still got Gunner, though, of course. As I said, you've still got Doc, who stepped it up. Bills has been hunting for some frags. Has been good with the trades in the past few rounds. But now everyone is going to be required to pull their weight. You've now got the Wolves feeling better about this clear now that they've got the opener. They'll be working their way in from this master side. Drones all the way through. That is confirmed that it is clear all the way up to Cash itself. Nobody else playing in construction proper or working a flank for now. Everyone positioned on the site, in garage, or just below it, as Bills could potentially work a bit of a cheeky play. He's sitting down in stock right now, but the Wolves still poised and ready to go. The one delay here is going to be the fact that the platform wall is still not opened. In fact, it is still electrified, and Freak is going to likely throw a nade in just a moment to get that done, and while he does so, Mohes on the coverage takes care of Mr. B. Gunner will get one back, and that one's on the Habana, so that is a great pick to have, because now your vulnerable Cash side may feel a little bit more secure, but Jay's holding this angle. You've now got that platform wall open. This situation still definitely favoring this attack.
Oh, Gunner, though, doing the work necessary, trades out Jay and fells the nades, meaning that if this attack wants to open up the con wall, it's going to be a lot more difficult. Freak, no more nades in his back pocket, only a Gon 6. If they want to deal with that jammer, someone's got to go in below, and that might be a tough task considering that Alibi was down there earlier. He's since rotated up, so the control is free, but it is a massive time commitment, and with only 40 seconds left, I don't think Wichita are going to want to go for that. They're stunning in, looking like they want to run right through. Gunner nearly gets caught in the back, but Boring, not watching the right angle, dies. It's a triple kill for Gunner. Bills lit up, though. Gunner sending the C4 out. It doesn't land, but Doc and Bill's shots do, and Chess Club end up taking round 15. They don't need the 20 from Snake. The rest of the squad shows that they can step up when necessary, and we're headed to map 3.
Chess Club making it happen. I got to admit, another surprising turn of events for the Wolves, who failed to really do much of anything in the mid-round to the late round, getting far too tunnel visioned on their plan to approach from the Cash side. Everyone dying on the Cash side. When they walked into Cash, they found themselves in a brutal crossfire because they just failed to clear out all those defenders holding those extended positions, and Cash with soft walls all around is nothing but a death trap. Would have loved to see the Wolves have multiple approaches that they had in mind. They could have pivoted in the mid-round once they lost Mo, once they lost that Habana, because they funneled through a doorway only to get mowed down. They had the platform wall open. They had a couple more options to work with, and just committing maybe a little too soon to that plan, and it caught them out because of it.
Yeah, I really disappointed in the Wichita Wolves play there, especially killing Snake so early on, allowing Gunner to step up again. And it's a problem we saw right in their gym attack, not having enough utility for the late round to clear everything properly. The jammer on construction completely stalling that round out by Gunner, no less. Who not only got a 3K, but his utility ended up winning the round for them as well. Surprised by Boring hugging the breach on the wrong side instead of cutting the cross. He was trying to take the fight in garage, which is a little bit odd. I mean, had Boring not died there, had he killed Gunner, that site play maybe goes a little bit better because Boring can keep on going in and end up, pushing into red, cutting off. I think that was Doc on the Alibi. I don't know, either Doc or Bill is one of those two, but either way, at the end of the day, it's an 8-7 for Chess Club. Huge stuff to Snake and Gunner. Again, those two top frags. Before we head to a break, we need to thank someone else. Of course, it's Mavix Chairs, the official chair partner of NSG and local host, and now SCS. You can get their new M4 gaming chair for as low as $22.22 a month. As you can see on your screen, you can follow that link, mavix.com/NerdStreetGamers, to go and get yourself a beautiful gaming chair. Mavix, a proud sponsor for us, and they have been incredible. So far, they even have heating and cooling attachments that you can add to your chair. So if you want the epitome of gaming style comfort, then hook yourself up with a Mavix chair. But thank you guys for sticking with us through quite a trek of a map. Clubhouse going the distance, but we still got Chalet to go through, so don't go anywhere. We'll have the thrilling conclusion of quarterfinal number 3 after this short break.
Have to get aggressive. Breach looking for it, and he'll get it.
Have to push for the kill. Have to kill the Maluski.
Transfers on 1-3. What a passion! It's high noon. There's the 1v2. It's 5-1 for Sir.
gamers as athletes.
The crowd, everyone's cheering the team on, you make friends, these are people you talk to, you play with online. It's all about community, it's being part of something that you're incredibly passionate about.
Players rose from their beds from the east to the west to compete and prove which players were best. Through weeklies and monthlies, the hype did climb. As soon came the grand finals. Locations in due time. The road was a trying one, wrists aching with cramps. In the end, victors rose. We call them Winter Champs.
Have to get aggressive. Breeze looking for it, and Hill got it.
Have to push for the kill. Have to kill them with
Transfers on 1-3. What a passion! It's high noon. There's the 1v2 and 5-1 half reserve.
Hello everyone, welcome back. If you missed the first two maps, wow, what a series it's been so far. Wichita Wolves looking in control of Oregon 7-4, nearly mounting the comeback. They brought it to OT when they were down, I believe it was, what, 6-2? But at the end of the day, Chess Club just eke out the win 8-7 and send us to Chalet.
Yeah, it wasn't the cleanest of maps of all time, and there were moments when it seemed both teams could walk away with the series. I mean, Chess Club, they had so many chances to win that, so many match points in regulation, they just couldn't close it out. Now, when we came down to OT, even in that last round, round 15, it looked like the Wolves had the edge, yet they let it slip away. But these are the kind of series that we just love to see. It's down and dirty. It doesn't have to be the cleanest, most methodical, disciplined siege ever, but it is, I mean, it's a lot of fun to watch, I'm sure. I mean, it's a lot of fun to cast as well. I am just looking forward to what these teams can throw down on map 3. As we talked about on Clubhouse, if Chess Club can roll to Chalet with the momentum that they had secured in the middle of that game, I mean, it's a terrifying prospect for the Wolves, but just in the course of 3-4 rounds, the Wolves were able to get the momentum back on their side. I'd argue we are going into Chalet completely at even footing.
Yeah, well, okay. We say even footing, but when it comes to Chalet, there's many times where the looser, more aggressive, more frag-oriented team comes out on top, but of course, before we head on to map 3, let's look at our stats. 19-12 for Snake. One off of the 20 bomb. Unfortunately, he got picked off very early in the last round, so he wasn't able to achieve it, which is a little bit of a heartbreaker, but succeeded, of course, by his teammate of Gunner, 14-9. Everyone else on the squad, relatively even. Meanwhile, on the other side of the coin, Wichita Wolves, despite it going 8-7, only one person was positive, Freak, and only by 2. He was 16-14. He did tremendously on the entry. He was 6-0. Much closer entry contest than I think the previous map was, but still, that wasn't enough. When you're fighting against a team like Chess Club, at the end of the day, if your firepower isn't enough, you're going to get run over.
Yeah, and it did come down to the wire, even if the Wolves were lacking in firepower, but I think that's Clubhouse for you. You go to Chalet, you can't be lacking in the firepower. I mean, pure and simple, you cannot be slow at all when it comes to taking those early gunfights and winning them. If, like we saw in Clubhouse, Chess Club are able to, keep that momentum and be as frag dominant as they were, I think this map is going to be a lot more one-sided. The Wolves have to do whatever they can to take that frag mentality they had from Oregon and shift it to Chalet. If they can find that mentality again, I think this one could be damn close, but if not, I would argue that this favors Chess Club. We'll take a look at our operator bands, though, see what kind of chalet we are in for. We have come to expect a pretty standard selection of bands here. The Thatcher, the Flores, the Valkyrie or Mira, or the Wamai. One of those three, or two of those three, generally banned off, and the fact that we will see the Thatcher banned first is no surprise.
Yeah, I mean, Thatcher banned literally everywhere. Flores, no surprise either, following closely behind because, again, Chalet leans very much into the shield meta, and Flores alleviates a lot of that. Wichita Wolves starting on their defense don't want Chess Club to have too much of an easy path towards destroying those shields. Plus, Chess Club have shown that they're a little less coordinated when it comes to that utility, so the lack of a Flores might hurt them a lot more than it hurts the Wolves. Valkyrie, the next ban, she was left up on Clubhouse. She was a power player on Clubhouse, and we're not going to have the Mira either. Strangely, for the first time this series, both Valkyrie and Mira will be banned.
Yeah, so good to see that both teams have realized, you know what, we do not want to deal with either of these dastardly defenders, but it does mean, of course, that the Wamai is still in the mix, something that mostly comes into effect on the second floor bomb site, rather the first floor bomb site of Bar and Games. I say second floor because that is generally where the Wamai is going to be utilized, either to protect the library player, the player on chimney behind the deployable shield, or the one sitting at the top of those library stairs. Those blue stairs also where we see a deployable shield typically placed. Often that amount of projectile denial is essential and something we have come to expect from every defensive team, but it seems here that we are not going to see the Wamai at all. The only bit of that denial is going to come in the form of those Jaeger ADSs from Mr. B. The rest of this lineup, Gunner running the Malusi, Snake running the Alibi, and Doc pulling out the Frost. Maybe a little bit unexpected to see her in this game.
Yeah, and that's three shields we have, one of which on the smoke, two on the less orthodox operators, but still, you know, they do bring those shields so they can find impact in this round. We'll probably have one shield top blue, one shield chimney, one shield either on the site, maybe even aggressively holding library. Sometimes we even see a shield placed in Ivy. We'll have to see where Doc decides to put it. Frost as well can come into play, you know, under the Ivy window, under the library windows, under the site window by Games, and catch a lot of people's feet. So, you know, while those operators are unorthodox, they still find a lot of use here, especially on this site. Meanwhile, Wichita Wolves, they're bringing out the Zero, and it's kind of interesting that it's Freak playing him.
Yeah, Freak, who has been, you know, the top fragger on the Wolves very consistently throughout this particular series. Yeah, switching off to something that we would consider more of a flank watch role is a little bit unusual. Of course, you don't have to use those cameras for actual info. You can also use those for utility burn, which, as we've highlighted, is useful on this map. But the way Freak is playing this, working his way in from below, it does seem like that utility focus may be his priority. Reed is going to get those X-Kairos pellets down on this bar stock wall, so potentially Freak could sneak in from below and get that angle onto that position. Anyone hiding in back bar will get taken out pretty easily, and so Doc, careful to relocate over into bar itself. Interestingly enough, Bills, the smoke, is playing on that top floor, and every one of these defenders is actually positioned off the site, aside from, of course, Doc himself. Now, Mr. B getting that first kill onto Jay is a great place to begin because that is a Finka who you've now lost. That is two nades you've lost. And Gunner on the follow-up onto Freak. I mean, the Wolves are struggling just to get into the building.
Yeah, problem that we didn't expect them to have, considering the last couple maps. They've really amped up their entry game, but here they're struggling mightily. Barring attempting to cut off, Gunner will end up peeking in and taking damage. Malusi finally flushed out and pre-fired down into the grave, but it's still a one-man advantage here for Chess Club. Looking like Mo wants to just walk into the hallway and establish presence on site, but of course he's thinking better of it because of that Banshee in the middle of the hallway, though it might not reach him. He'll see the barrel of the Frost and catch Doc unaware, now inside of bar. This site is completely at his disposal. Bills will claim Reed, though, and Mr. B finds Barring, so although Mo is in the site, no one from his team is able to join him, and thus, this control really means nothing at the end of the day. Case also far afield, people watching the hatch. Mo is going to have a hard time getting in, and he's now getting choked out by the gas. Trying to take the fight through the floor is completely unsuccessful, and is finally going to get put out of his misery by Snake. And although it was a fast play by the Sledge that looked like it could have gone somewhere, the lack of any support means that it's still going to be the first round in Chess Club's favor.
I guess of all the bomb sites in Siege, Barring Games is one of those sites where every once in a while an attacker will just be in the middle of it, and it actually means nothing at the end of the day, because you can just walk in from Fireplace Hall when you get control of that area, but when you're actually in the site and you don't have diffuser or support from your teammates, there is almost nothing you can do. And that is because the vertical play is just so damn effective on that site that you are just basically as stuck as a defender would normally be on the site if the attacking team is pressuring from above. In Library, you've got not only all the soft destruction you could possibly dream of, but you've got a hatch, which looks right into games and at every possible plant spot. In Bar, you've got, yes, a couple more maybe safe places to hold, but if somebody is up in Fireplace Hall by Chimney, again, they've got the vertical holes onto your position. And yes, Mo was able to get into the site and get one kill. Barring was able to get another kill as he cleared out Gunner from below. Aside from that, the Wolves just could not find the necessary frags. They opted for a peculiar approach to that map, not really going directly into that top floor extension and going for the utility clear, and because of it, it didn't really seem like they had a fighting chance in that round once we got past that 90-second mark.
Yeah, it was really sad to see from Wichita Wolves only netting 2 kills in that round. Hopefully, though, they'll be able to get into the building this time. They're going to have to, because this is dining. First things first, you're going to have to clear top floor. A lot of utility and players being sectioned off by the defense upstairs. In fact, 3 out of the 5 defenders, the majority of their manpower, is on that top floor. It's Doc, Gunner, and Snake. It seems as Chess Club, or that Wichita Wolves want to mount a solar take. Kind of the preferred method of the two, typically at the higher level of Siege, because of how little control it takes to mount this push and how much it gains once you're actually in the building. Gunner, though, ratting over towards top blue stairs. Fortunately for the attack, no one's actually heading in that direction. It's pretty much just solar with, actually, Mo. Where? Okay, I don't know where Mo is, but enough of that distraction. The Barring has simply swung in, is going to get 2 kills in the closet and whipping around to piano. I don't know how he was able to just swing into the master double window, but apparently no one was watching that.
Yeah, just an opening for the Wolves, and Barring will do a great job to seize it. Good to see him heating up. He had a very tough time on Clubhouse, and part of the reason why the Wolves struggled to get consistent and cohesive through the majority of that map, but already 3-1, so feeling good on the Zofia. Still a lot of work to do, though, for the rest of this attack. They've got control up above, but with the 3 defenders and, one of them an Echo down below, they have got to find either these Echo drones or they've got to find Mr. B himself and force him out. This top floor control isn't going to get you much unless you actually get those kills, and on cue, Mr. B will fall at the hands of Jay. Bills gets one back. Good kill onto Jay. Now a second one onto Mohez, who is busy opening the barricade on that trophy window. Gunner wants one back from West Main, but that is not where the Wolves are approaching from. One is outside right now, and the other 2 are already up in trophy. Gunner's the last player standing and hits a nice shot onto the Zofia, but has to find 2 more, and Freak on the 0 is not going to miss that shot. So the Wolves will equalize. We're all tied up at 1.
Yeah, it was a tough fight for Gunner to take, especially through the Zo stun. Well done to Wichita Wolves on that top floor take, mainly Barring, again, being proactive, taking initiative, jumping through the big window, catching Doc, who actually went on his cams just before he died, and then whipping around and finding Snake unprepared as well. From there, the entire top floor was in the hands of the Wolves. They were able to kill the Echo, and the site players were soon to follow. Good try from Bills to get 2 back, but at the end of the day, it wasn't enough. And now Chess Club are going upstairs to master, interestingly enough, especially at the higher levels of Siege. And what we've seen from T2 and even the earlier games in SCS, Snowmobile Garage has been way more popular than Master. So interesting that Chess Club are opting to go here, especially with how well they can roam.
Right, I suppose their defense could just hinge upon an effective roam downstairs that the Wolves have to deal with before they can hop on the Master Rappel. I don't know. The reason I highlight that is because this site is tough to defend just because there's a window smack dab in the middle of it. And if you take a look at that window, you can see the line it has through the entire site, cutting off not only the rotate between Master and Office, but the piano hallway as well. So any defender trying to rotate between the sites can be immediately fried from a player who knows how to shoot on the window. And one of the only avenues you could possibly have as a defense to shut that player down is a run out from below, a run out from trench, or a run out from the trophy window. Things that are not easy to execute well if the proper setup is there from the attack. So that is in part why this site has fallen out of favor at the higher levels. But the Chess Club, we've seen their confidence, we've seen their fragging ability, and because, you know, you're focusing on some intel, you're bringing out the Echo, maybe they'll be able to adjust ahead of time before they deal with their site being cut in half.
Well, downstairs there's a roamer as well underneath. It seems that's who Mo is hunting. Surprise, surprise, it's Gunner. He'll quickly dart away, though, maybe looking for someone outside, but there's no one for him to find. Bills is also all the way towards the library side of things. Gunner now kind of supporting from underneath, potentially finding a C4 kill if the clear from Wichita is too slow. But for now, there's not a lot of action happening. Wichita Wolves seeming like they're going to go for another solar push, not worrying too much about those people by library side. There is someone right under, though, towards the dining side of things. I think that's the mute of Snake, but Jay is just going to swing on in, deal some damage to Mr. B, tag up the Echo, but he's got to worry about whoever that player is on that first floor.
Mr. B wants to take this fight, unusual for an Echo player who's really trying to stay alive for the end of this round, and great nade there from Jay, actually, to catch out Mr. B on the other side of that wall. So at some point, the Echo did have to relocate, and unfortunately, Mr. B just not getting some pep in his step in time. Jay will get traded out, though, effectively by Bills, who pretty much takes the same angle that the Echo was holding a moment ago, but wins the fight anyway. Mohes will follow that one up onto Snake, and barring with a good kill onto Gunner, leaves Doc and Bills to fight for themselves. Wants to get aggressive, pushing all the way up towards Solarium, and takes down Reed as he tries to swing in on the rappel. Doc has been lit up, though, so he's going to have a tough time fighting any longer. This one's really going to come down to Bills, and if he can perform in the clutch. Barring has also been lit up, though, so it's not out of the question. The Chess Club can pull this one back, but with 50 seconds to work with the Wolves, they don't have to commit to anything just yet. They can still take their time here.
Yeah, and luckily for the defense, though, Barring is lit up. Doc is going to tuck himself behind the half wall. Mo, who's since picked up the diffuser, skated off towards the basement. In comes a player towards Ivy. Freak easily finishes off Doc, and like you said, it really does all fall onto the shoulders of Bills in this round, but Freak holding the long angle will finish him, hitting the bag right after, just like we saw in the round prior, and that's 2 attacks in a row now for the Wolves.
Yeah, first round didn't go their way, but since then they have been a lot neater in terms of just the way they've approached these sites. The problem and the criticism we gave them in that first round is that they did not approach the site with a cohesive plan that really made us feel confident in what they were doing, right? They didn't just go for the library clear and take care of the utility like a normal approach would be. They approached from the basement and the top floor at the same time, and they kind of got caught off guard by several different roamers because of that. But in the last 2 rounds, they have entered with what seems like a strong plan, and they have executed that plan to near perfection 2 times in a row, getting the opening picks in both of these rounds as well, so not too much of a surprise why they've been able to take them either. But here's the deal. Chess Club can go back to barring games, so Wichita Wolves, we are going to have to see a pivot from their last attempt at this site.
Yeah, because that clear upstairs did not go as planned at all. That's really all that came down to it. Hopefully their top floor clear is a little bit better. Pretty similar stuff from Chess Club, if not the same. Actually, same operator selection as well. The 2 unorthodox shields with the smoke. Even frost mats, I believe, in the same spots. So Wichita Wolves are likely going to be more prepared for this, is hopefully, you know, when they clear, I imagine it'll start by the solar side of things. You know, when they clear in, they're not going to get caught off guard once again. But Mr. B getting a little cheeky with this spawn peek right out the window. And I think Gunner was rotating over towards the master side of things as well.
He's just patiently waiting for someone to walk into his crosshair. I don't think Barring is going to do that anytime soon. He does appear to be quite patient with how he's approaching this one, sending his drone straight on into games. But this round will start the same way it started in round number 1, with Freak using that can opener to open up this snowmobile garage, send a couple of cams in, and look to apply some pressure from below. I suspect Reed will join him in a moment. We can see him wielding that diffuser, joining the Zero to open up the line of sight into bar stock. Good start, and there's nothing wrong with it, but now this is where things went wrong in the previous round. They did not provide enough coverage on that top floor. Their clear left a lot to be desired, and I'd love to see them change things up effectively. Gunner is still on the roam, though. He's still on the prowl, and he wants to get these kills, and the fact that the Wolves are not clearing this top floor yet may give him a chance to strike. It's actually going to give Snake a strike because Mo is only now going up onto the balcony, and because, again, no early pressure was applied, Snake was in position far before Mo ever had a chance to fight back.
We're typing in chat after that. I don't know what that means, but if he's not happy about it. Bills, as the smoke is curiously the one holding Chimney instead of, usually, you know, there's a Womai or someone else played there. In fact, he gets aggressive, now making a stance in Library, taking the head off Reed. He'll finally be traded out, but after Freak dies, it's a 3-man disadvantage, as that player has not been finished off. Finally, the nade will go through. Barring lands another onto Gunner, bringing the man count back just a bit. Mr. B is still upstairs. There's likely a frost mat under the coat check window. No one's actually challenging it, so it might be safe for Barring to jump into. Jay alone right now upstairs with the case. If he goes into Library, could easily fall victim to Mr. B, but no. He rotates out. Ian Barring might try to go for a sight play, but again, this is going to be difficult considering Doc and Bar Stock and Mr. B still upstairs, but will it just be the main window? No, they're making quite a long rotate. There's 3 different cameras watching the alibi, and Barring's just going to move right on in. No one's trying to watch him from Bar, but there is a default cam, so you can see that Frost start to turn his attention over towards Lobby. Now with 20 seconds remaining, we're going to need to see a push right now from Wichita. There's someone in heaven as well. That's Mr. B, but they can't find Barring, who's made his way through short. He'll get the nice shot onto the alibi, but as Jay dies, it's all up to this Zoe, and the round has nearly become impossible. Even if he kills this Frost, Mr. B is left up, and he's just hiding, wasting the time. Chess Club even us up 2-2.
I just don't get what the Wolves are trying here with the lack of top floor clears. I mean, it's back-to-back Library attacks where they've only started to approach Library after the halfway mark of the round, and they do so with like half the attackers that they should, with half the utility they should, and they got decimated up top yet again. I know you want to put some presence downstairs, you get Freak in the building, you get the bar stock wall open, all that's fine. It's just whatever they're doing in the early round, it's preventing them from going through a cohesive top floor clear. Both times, the same exact issue. And that's never a good sign for any team in any circumstance to have the same reason you lose the round both times you attack the same site. That just, I mean, you clearly have a misunderstanding of what you need to do, or you failed to make an adjustment between the 2 rounds to counter what the defense threw at you. And it wasn't like we saw anything out of the ordinary from Chess Club, did we? I mean, it was simply a strong top floor utility focused hold. You throw in a couple of roamers into the mix, alibi on the top floor, you've got your Malusi running all over the place, and just that was enough to catch the Wolves completely off guard. It seemed like they just didn't know what they were walking into, even though they were walking into the same thing again. So you don't love to see that from an attacking team, and that's why Chess Club are able to tie things up. We're even at 2.
It seems like unless it's a solar take, then Wichita Wolves kind of struggle. Now, luckily, you know, it's back to dining where they can employ a solar take and have it be effective. Seems like their first target upstairs might be Snake. Now, of course, you know, Barring did just swing into the big window and kill 2 people at the beginning of the previous attempt onto this site, which, you know, I don't know if that happens again. Especially since he's not on the rappel. He's just climbing up over towards office. There is someone near him, though. It's Gunner opening up floor holes as the castle towards bunker. And Gunner actually will since move. Maybe rat towards top blue again. I'm not quite sure, but Wichita Wolves actually not doing a solar clear, interestingly enough, despite how well it worked last time.
Yeah, trying to approach from the barn game side, just trying to maybe just walk in, take a look at the site, see what they were missing in the previous round. No, just kidding. I do think they're just trying to approach this one from elsewhere, maybe just go through this top floor clear, going through, taking all the map control rather than going direct. Of course, risky to go direct because you avoid taking the map control you'd likely need, but in this case, the map control is great, but we're not seeing any roamers to flush out. Everyone on the side of Chess Club is playing this one a lot more passively. We see, I mean, just in terms of operator selection, this is more of a passive selection. The only one that could get aggressive here is, you know, Snake or Doc, both of whom are positioned on this top floor extension. Snake in Piano, Doc sitting close by in Master. They're in position to support each other when these fights eventually come through. Mo Hess will finally get himself on that Master rappel, but, I mean, Doc is sitting still. Freak is trying to support this, I think, by working his way around with Barring now, but both Snake and Doc, they are not willing to be forced out so easily.
It's been a lot longer here for Wichita Wolves to make any progress whatsoever. They haven't even opened up the office wall, and we've only got a minute left. I don't know what's taken them so long because Chess Club aren't getting active or aggressive or anything, but they'll finally move in, try and nade out the shield. Of course, there's an ADS covering that. I don't know why they thought they could do that for free. Jay gets heavily lit up by the player behind the shield, but in comes Barring from the back. Reading tags on another. Mohes gets traded out, but as does Snake, making this a 4 versus 2. Bills tries to mount a retake. He'll get one, but not the second, and it's all down to Mr. B on the Echo. The time no longer as much of a factor. I was really worried for the Wolves, but getting so many kills so quickly means they have a whole 30 seconds now to execute against one single player. Leaving no stone unturned, they'll open up the hatch, making Kitchen or impossible to play with. Mr. B takes the first fight, wins it, about to land the second. Now it's just Reed. The entire advantage Wichita Wolves had has now crumbled from their fingers, and Reed, looking the wrong way, just narrowly avoids the fight and lands the headshot with the bearing 9. Wichita Wolves narrowly take round 5.
Yeah, great shot there from Reed, and a very important one as well. That would have been a brutal round to lose in that 3v1, considering how quickly the Wolves were able to just, you know, unleash a flurry of kills on that top floor and, you know, quickly take the control they needed to. I mean, I say quickly, but it started off very, very slow, and it's something you and I both highlighted, Harrison, how they opted for the full top floor clear, and what it cost them was double the time that it took them the last time they went Solarium direct. But the difference was that Chess Club, they all died almost at once. It wasn't one fight here, one fight there, a couple minutes later, here's another gunfight. It was everyone on the top floor got just decimated before Chess Club really knew what hit them. So props to Wichita Wolves for getting that one done. I mean, now they take that advantage once again. We do generally consider this an attacker-sided map, but this back and forth pattern, it's kind of been prevalent in all of these maps at the beginning. The question is, you know, which of these teams is that first team to step up and extend that lead? The Wolves, of course, they've got to lead again. But Chess Club, they're going to head downstairs now to Wine and Snow to remedy that as soon as they can.
I finally like Garage coming out, and you can see Chess Club are, for the first time, really leaning into the roam lineup. Drone now from both Snake and Gunner. Doc, you know, being a very fluid operator when it comes to moving around the map. So I like this from Chess Club. Garage is a bit of an odd site to attack sometimes. Some teams opt to go direct, but I doubt Wichita Wolves will. They'll probably go for the full clear, especially because that both walls are electro-clawed. You do have Reed swapping from Hibana to Ace, curiously enough. I'm not quite sure what that's about. Maybe bringing extra breaching charges once they take the top 2 floors, but Wichita Wolves are going to go back to what they know works. They'll go back initially to a solar take, just in case there's anyone upstairs to meet them, but Snake once again denying entry from Wichita Wolves will cut down Mo Hess, the sledge, a very important op for Wichita Wolves top down clear.
And that may have been the same exact position. Snake was looking for a fight on that Master Balk, and I think that's where Mo ended up dying. Both rounds we've seen Mo take that fight with Snake, and Mohes has died both times. So Snake looking to add to his tally, reluctant to give up this top floor control, and at this point in the round, I mean, there's no need to give it up at all. I mean, he is in a good spot with a lot of time to work with, and Wichita Wolves have not really done anything at all to clear him out. They have lost Mohes, they have lost their sledge, like you said, Harrison, and we may be seeing a bit of a pivot, right? Everyone who was initially working themselves to that top floor has now backed off and is going quite a bit more direct over towards West Main, right? You've got somebody rotating around towards Trench. You've got Barring just walking down the hallway. He gets fried by Doc. Bill's on an answer to Freak. Jay gets one back and will trade the Kaid off the board, but it's Jay and Reed that are all left of this attack. Just like that, the Wolves are in a very tough spot, and if they want to prevent Chess Club from tying this one up, they are going to really have to pull out something impressive. Gunner is, again, on that Vigil and hunting for these kills. Jay is very vulnerable if the Vigil catches him out, but Gunner caught looking the wrong way, so this one is definitely doable still.
Unfortunately for this attack, that shield could pose a bit of an issue. Now, there is no Jaeger and nothing to cover it, so if Jay can get in position to deal with it, then, you know, it'll be much easier for Reed to mount this push, but it doesn't look like he's too concerned with that. Instead, going towards blue stairs, making his way down the hallway. The Malusi is watching his angle, and the Mozzie will come into peek as he turns around, but no, the shots miss from Snake, meaning Jay lives another day. He'll clear the bulletproof, now cooking a nade to send over. It'll bank off the wall, but Snake still gets the kill before it blows up, and Reed can't push in thanks to Mr. B. Chess Club end up evening the half, 3-3, as we swap sides.
I mean, here we are, all tied up, and we're on our final map in this final, or I guess this third quarterfinal, where these two teams, I mean, they're looking to push themselves through to the semis, staving off defeat as long as they can. And, I mean, even though we are all tied up, we can tend to see a team that has the edge over the other. But right now, I'm not going to lie, Harrison, this feels like a dead heat. I mean, there are rounds where the Wolves look a little bit more composed and Chess Club just gets decimated. But then you've got a round like this, and you've got a round like round 1 and round 4, where the Wolves just couldn't do anything. I mean, to clear out the proper utility and to take care of those defenders who just could not be tracked down. So, I mean, Chess Club have made a stronghold to bring us back to even, and now we're switching sides. I mean, now the Wolves, now they've got to concoct some defenses here. We'll get to see how Chess Club wants to approach this on their attacks, and they're going to bring out the Zero as well. I mean, continuing to just, you know, work off each other, of course, adapting to each other's strategies, but maybe Doc taking a page out of Freak's book here.
Yeah, the Zero, I don't think it's really been all that effective for the attack so far, but maybe Chess Club are going to have a better go of it. Wichita Wolves will opt for Bar first things foremost. Instead of bringing both the Alibi and the Frost, they will instead just have Goyo to bring both of those shields, meaning they're free to play other operators like the Mute, like the Jaeger-Aruni combo to delay as much utility as possible, though a little bit odd that there's no Wamai in play, considering how utterly powerful he is in holding down this top floor and holding those shield positions, as well as a pretty aggressive extension all the way towards the Ivy double door into Piano with a rotate into Office. Wichita Wolves looking to meet Chess Club head-on if they opt to clear from Solar.
Barring also hunting for a kill here, just looking down towards that west main window, seeing if anybody is entering downstairs, but it seems that Chess Club have a pretty clear approach to this one. Unlike what we saw from Wichita Wolves, they want to contest this top floor, and they want to do it right away. Barring will overstay his welcome tenfold on that window, holding that angle, and so Snake will take his life very quickly, and it is a shocking mistake to see, not only from Barring, but your smoke player, who you really want to keep alive later in this round. Not necessarily for that plant denial. He was positioned on the top floor, but to delay that clear in from library, something that will now be impossible with those toxic smokes. You've still got Freak and you've still got Jay holding down this top floor, but without that bit of utility, this clear from Chess Club, it's likely to come in pretty quickly.
Freak is at least able to get back to top chimney. There's a drone staring at him, though, so the attack is fully aware of this. Someone covering from the roof, but there is a shield for Freak to play behind. He nearly exposes himself to Snake there. Unfortunately for Snake, he can't necessarily find an angle over top of that shield, and Freak ends up landing the headshot on Bills, who jumps right into the library and takes the fight. Now, Freak is still happy to sit up here, not really being flushed out. The only attempt being Bills walking in. Someone else looking like they want to jump in. That might be Mr. B, the next to go into library. But for now, things are decently static for Chess Club. Nade goes into bar stock, or rather attempts to go into bar stock, but misses. Gunner dies to Mo Hess. Freak is still upstairs. And this clear from Chess Club is certainly not going as planned.
I don't know why they slowed down so much. I mean, you lose Bills. I understand that may slow you down a little bit, but initially, getting the kill onto Barring should have freed up so many opportunities. At least they'll get the kill onto Freak and finally alleviate the top floor pressure. And so that is a good amount of progress in these last few seconds, but they've only got 35 seconds remaining, and they've got to get a move on here. Mr. B is very low on HP at this point. And they need to find, 3 full HP defenders who are now waiting to make a move on the site below. They both use their C4. Both Mohes and Reed do not have that explosive utility in their pocket. And now Mo's been spotted out, so he'll have to back off behind the bomb now, or behind the bar rather. Mr. B, he's on low HP, so he's got to be careful where he drops. He'll pivot behind his teammate. Doc at the helm will push in, but he'll get fried. Snake gets one before that. Mr. B, a good shot there. Now it's Reed, all that remains. 0-0 though. All Reed has to do is take down the planter. He'll avoid Snake, take him down, and then a quick shot onto Mr. B to finish it off. Reed, we talked about him as that coach who stepped in, who's filling a critical role on the Wolves, but he's going to clutch up when it matters most.
Wow, that was huge from Reed. I think, was that a 3K at the end of the round from him, getting all 3 of those remaining players?
I honestly wish I knew,
because there was someone next to Mr. B, right?
It was
like before
Doc,
Snake,
right?
Yeah, and I think Reed killed him, and he peeked out from bar stock. So, I mean, that clear from Chess Club initially didn't go great, as Freak and Gunner died, and they slowed down tremendously in the 3v3. Freak probably shouldn't have given his life away like that. Should have been a 4v3, but I digress. It was a 3v3, and Chess Club were significantly slowed. Low time remaining. They end up just sending one down blue, and the rest from lobby. And they were all rebutted by Reed. I mean, sure, it was a nice try, Snake killing Jay, and then kind of, walking through short into the doorway towards bar. Mr. B landing a very nice headshot onto the player in games. But at the end of the day, Reed, coming from bar stock, armed with the SMG-11, taking those close fights, making sure that no one from Chess Club could really get things going after those initial 2 picks. So wonderfully done by the coach turned player, and that ensures that Wichita Wolves still hold on to that lead.
He did a good job as well, dipping and diving around Snake's crosshair. I mean, it was a situation where Snake couldn't hold the angle from afar because he knew the plant was going down at 0-0, and if anything, just had to get up in his face and prevent Reed from swinging out and taking the planter. And Reed did a really nice job, even when Snake was pushed up all the way so far. He did a good job of just, he stood up, he crouched behind the bar, he popped up, he moved around the corner, and Snake was like, what? Where'd you go? And Reed was able to win the fight because of it. And then at that point, the planter with his face buried in his keyboard, typing away on that diffuser kit, he was not much longer for the world either. So, great play from Reed. There is no doubt about that. Chess Club, they did get caught up a little bit on that clear, and that's something they're going to have to remedy on all of these bomb sites, frankly. Maybe not Master and Office, but Kitchen and Dining, it isn't quite as potent in terms of that top floor clear as maybe Library and Games is, or rather Bar and Games, but you do still have to take this top floor control of Master and Office itself. You've got to force out these defenders, and compared to last round, Chess Club, they can make that initial progress, and with whatever opening kill they get, they have to use that to leverage the rest of that clear and tear it apart. They cannot slow down, and they cannot allow the Wolves back into the round like they just did.
Yeah, concerning Dining, interested to see where Chess Club decide to push, whether it will be from Library or from Solar, like we had Wichita Wolves doing so many times. They will also opt to bring Echo. Interesting that it's actually Freak on that operator. Normally, I feel like when we see Echo, it's Mo, who has proven himself time and time again on that operator as well, mind you. So Kind of curious that we have that swap, but it's Chess Club starting from the library side of things, also dropping the 0 for the Nomad, so a little bit more hard stoppage when it comes to the flank watch. Bills, though, his clone going to get shot out very early by Mo. Not a lot of info able to be gained, and the Cade will dart away. Not wanting to take the challenge, just kind of playing for intel and then falling back. Understandably so. The Chess Club, now that they have full control of library, have to mount this horizontal push in through piano against a plethora of utility that Wichita Wolves have upstairs.
Gunner trying to maybe provide a cutoff, see if any defender tries to overextend. Now he's going to shift his focus to just getting a couple of nades over this dining wall. That'll fly in and deal with some of that utility. That'll deal with the Electro Claw on that main dining wall, and that should mean that Mr. B comes into play anytime soon to get that exothermic charge down. C4 goes up and just misses on Mr. B. Obviously, he takes quite a bit of damage, but not enough to finish him off. And, I mean, inches away from changing the course of the entire round, but the C4 got caught on the ceiling, and Mr. B stays alive long enough for the exothermic charge to open up that dining wall. So now he'll pivot upstairs because this office wall is likely the next step, but Freak is not looking to let them get that much progress. He is stepping up all the way up to that square position. He'll take a fight and then eventually just look the wrong way and die. Reed will collect a kill onto Bills, though, so it'll be a 1-for-1.
I don't really know why Freak is the one pushing up to piano and not someone like Reed or literally anyone else on this roster except Smoke. You are Echo. You cannot afford to push out that far and lose your life. He was such an important operator, especially in combo with this Smoke, but now you've lost the man count advantage. You've lost control of those yokais. And Chess Club are bearing down on this site. The last gas canister now goes out from Jay, but it only hits the doorway. It doesn't actually go into the hall, so Gunner remains undamaged. Mo, though, rotates downstairs, playing for the C4 through the hatch onto Mr. B. We'll see if it can come into play, but Mr. B, he's just baiting it out. He avoids the nitro cell, the only one that the defense had left. Jay pushes out, and it's caught by two different players. Mr. B credited with the kill. Mo felled as Doc team kills him. Or team kills Mr. B and gets the kill, but now it's just barring on the site in a 1 versus 3. No C4 in hand. Diffuser going down behind the bomb chassis, and the pre-fire from Gunner finishes the round. Chess Club even us up at 4 apiece, and these two teams just can't seem to shake each other.
I mean, it was Chess Club with the opening round, then the Wolves took 2 in a row. Since then, it has been a back and forth pattern, and it doesn't seem like we're ending that pattern anytime soon. We're dead even once again, all tied up at 4. Kitchen and dining didn't work too well for the Wolves, but mostly, I mean, the play there from Chess Club, it seems that they simply outsmarted the Wolves defense. That defense wasn't bad by any means. They had the player downstairs. They had that C4 to come up and deny the plant. But what Chess Club did so beautifully, of course, Mr. B on the bait. But the reason he was able to do that is because Chess Club, compared to the previous round where they were a little bit too slow, they were perfectly timed and they got things done nice and quickly. And that gave them, 30 seconds of leeway. That is a good bit of leeway in Siege. 30 seconds is a long time. You can run in, fake the plant, get out. Do that 3 more times, and you'll still have time on the clock to get the bomb down before the timer hits 000. That's what they did so beautifully there. Mr. B knew that and leveraged that to his advantage. Again, wonderful job there from Chess Club with that execute, avoiding that final piece of explosive plant denial that really the Wolves were trying to wield the best they could. And they just could not land that on the mark. Amazing how that round could have changed had that initial C4 caught Mr. B fully instead of just taking him down to about 40 HP. But those are the small things in Siege that if they don't go your way can indeed change the course of the round. So we'll see the site repeat here for the Wolves as they try to make a correction from that last one.
And Wichita Wolves, again, staking utility upstairs. Freak no longer on that Echo, so free to get kind of aggressive, active as the Wamai. Mo's got these Electro Claws that he can probably use maybe even upstairs to get that dining wall if necessary. But, someone rotating past will just narrowly avoid Bills. You can hear that player running through, but he won't pounce on the opportunity, so they're able to get away. Now we'll just wait at a different window. Chess Club are completely switching up the push, which I do like, opting for a solar take instead. And as Mo goes for a jump out, Bills is more than ready. Easy shot for the Iana means an early man lead for Chess Club.
Well, the Wolves want it back. Freak wants it back as usual. He takes these gunfights the moment one of his teammates falls, and that one's going to punish him. He'll actually get the direct trade with a gunner. Bills, though, will follow up onto Reed, so the trade really ends up going in the favor of Chess Club. Doc, the follow-up onto Jay. It is once again barring last alive, and he will just swing the trophy window. Didn't want the round to last much longer, it seemed, taking an incredibly long gunfight with a gun not designed for the job. So Chess Club, they will finally break that pattern, and they will take 2 rounds in a row.
Yeah, that was a bit curious there from the Wolves, getting really aggressive, over-aggressive, I would say. First off, on the roam, Mo getting the jump out. Bills had eyes on it. Then you have Freak trying to make a play and dies to Gunner, giving up Solar. In comes Chess Club. Reed tries to retake from the top floor, and Bills is already behind his shield, and I mean, from there, the entire round just falls apart. I don't know what the thought process was for Wichita Wolves, but I mean, they'll be going back to Bar, which is the only site that they've won so far, with a very similar lineup, only instead of an Aruni, they've got Wamai. Not quite sure why, because the Aruni, it didn't really, what am I trying to say? Like, the Aruni wasn't the problem, right? Like, it still did work. It's not like they needed Wamai. The problem was that when it came down to the 3v3, they lost a lot of gunfights, and it was down to Reed to clutch against all 3 attackers. But, I mean, hey, again, if Freak wants to get a little bit more aggressive, then the MP5K is definitely a weapon that lends itself a little more to the long-range fights than the Roni.
The timeout from the Wolves, though, this, of course, they're hoping can be their opportunity to regroup. They'll talk things over, and they'll figure out how they want to run the remainder of these defenses. They know when Chess Club has the momentum, this becomes a very scary prospect to take more than a couple of rounds out of their hands. And, I mean, I guess they can rest in the fact that they are going back to Bar and Gaming. The site is now unlocked, the site that they were able to win the first time they came here in their very first defensive round. But I don't think the Chess Club are going to make the same mistake. They have been much faster on their clears in the 2 rounds following the initial slow clear, the tortoise-like approach to the site. And Chess Club have certainly learned their lesson that when they're speeding it up, they're finding round wins. And when they take too long, that's when the Wolves, that's when Freak is allowed to step up. That's when things are allowed to really change around. So all Chess Club have to do is clear out this top floor a little bit faster. Of course, it is easier said than done. But if they can get another opening pick onto Barring, who's right now the top frag of the Wolves, the only player, in fact, who is positive once again, that could be exactly what Chess Club needs to put them over the edge.
Yeah, the strategy from Wichita Wolves is remaining much the same as well, with the exception of maybe, Freak playing in Chimney as Wamai instead of Aruni. Like you said, the more that Chess Club picks up the pace, the better they look. But remember, the last time Wichita Wolves took a timeout, they won the next 4 rounds in a row. So, I don't know. Is this the start of a comeback? We'll have to see. It wouldn't even really be a comeback. Is this the start of a streak? We'll have to see. Chess Club opting to start from the solar side of things, go full over on the top floor. The only real person in contention could be Mo downstairs playing for a C4, but lest we forget, Wichita Wolves are slightly extended towards office.
Quick correction there, Harrison. The Wolves, they took a timeout on Clubhouse, then proceeded to lose 2 rounds and then win 4 rounds in a row. And they can't afford that luxury of losing
That's
2
true.
rounds here. Because, of course, that'd be over. It'd be match point. It'd be the 7th round, and it'd be a 7-4 win for Chess Club. So they do have to get things going a little bit faster. And once again, and it is going to rely on this upper floor presence. It's going to be Freak at the helm of that. He did so well on Oregon. Just hasn't quite found those numbers here on Chalet just yet. He's been spotted out, and there are pings on his position. Snake, all he's got to do is bring his face up to this soft wall, and then Freak is not much longer for this world. He knows he's got to get out of there. He'll actually down Gunner on the fadeaway shot through the fire, but Snake will take him down before he can finish off Gunner for good. Gunnar will, of course, res himself with that Finka boost, so he is back in this fight and still a threat. So Chess Club, they've done what they set out to do, and that is clear out Freak and get this opening pick. It has taken them quite a while, though, and they still have to deal with Barring. They've dealt with his shield, but he is going to be reluctant to give up this position just yet. Same for Mo, who is just swinging, roaming around downstairs. Doc, who I have no idea what he is doing downstairs alone, by the way, will get taken down. Mr. B gets sent sky high, but by a nice follow-up C4 from Mohes as well. And once again, Chess Club have failed to clear out this top position. Once they burn that shield, they're still sitting still, and it's getting them killed.
Yeah, that downstairs presence from Mo really biting them. Reed attempting to cover this window, doesn't eat that nade from Gunnar. The Finka could be a big operator because she's still got those boosts, but Gunnar himself is so low on HP, and Snake can't find anything through the floor. He's looking for the ghost of Mo Hess, who has since evacuated that position. Jay is still upstairs holding this chimney shield as Gunnar starts to bear down on him. In comes the Finka, easy kill to even up the man count, but the time, again, a big problem for this attack. Snake will die with 10 seconds left. Reed at least traded out by Bills, but here's Gunnar now running in the middle of the site. Barring is all the way by top main. Mo still towards dining, kills one, Barring the second, as that kill on a Snake, I would have to assume, drop diffuser towards lobby. I could see the icon there. And yeah, it was on the Zophia's body. That one kill really solidifying the round for Wichita.
We have seen a chalet where Bar and Games has a 0% defensive win rate. That is so bizarre to say, but it seems that both of these attacking teams just have not been able to clear out the top floor effectively. Even when it looks like they might be getting some progress, they'll slow down, they'll try to extend a player elsewhere, and that's where it all falls apart. I mean, that was what happened in round 10. Doc was alone downstairs over in kitchen, and then Mohes just ran at him and killed him because he was all alone. The rest of the attack was lackadaisically working their way in up above. Like, after they burned Barring's shield, they still sat there for like 20, 30 seconds getting nothing done. The shield had already been burned. Didn't see them send a drone in to confirm if Barring was on the staircase or not. Barring actually had rotated down towards the blue hall in the basement by that time. So, disconnects on the attacking side, still plaguing both attacking teams. Right now, of course, it's hitting a little bit closer to home for Chess Club, who will not be able to get another Bar and Games attack going here in regulation because, rather, the Wolves have put it together. Did I say 0% defensive win rate? We've seen a 0% attacking win rate of Bar and Games. May have said the wrong thing there. But the point is, an attacker-sided map, these attacking teams just have not been able to get something going.
And now we'll see Wichita Wolves kind of employ the same thing that we saw from Chess Club. Instead of going Garage, they opt for Master first. Again, the least popular side on this map, I think, in recent times, is Garage has started to become more popular, more played, as people have figured out how to do it. Reed challenging aggressively will get shoved back by Gunnar, avoiding all those shots. Freak covers his retreat, but Mr. B ends up killing the Jaeger anyway. Sorry, actually, that was the, I think that was Mo rotating away. I thought that was the Jaeger joining Freak upstairs, but no, it was not to be. It was, in fact, Reed still downstairs, dead to Mr. B, giving up the first pick once again for the third round in a row. Chess Club have gotten the opening kill, and this time there's no response. Doc survives on just a sliver of HP, but still claims Freak's life.
Yeah, and Freak has been the menace on the top floor who delays the majority of the clock, you know, when it comes to these extensions. And there it is. He's already been taken care of. Barring falls right after, dealing with that C4. Beautiful nade there from Gunnar. Mohes answers. A good long angle onto Snake, who tried to get a little bit too aggressive, but Bills just walks in and lines both Mohes and Jay up. There it is. That is a Chess Club round, and that is now match point for Chess Club.
And what was it in that round that we've seen Chess Club do that we are begging them to do again? They did not stop moving. constant forward momentum. As soon as they killed Reed, they started to float their way in, and they were not stopping. Doc got the second frag. Gunner followed it up with a nade onto Barring. Bills hops through the bathroom window, knowing there's no one covering it, and the last two defenders line up for him. Chess Club kept the foot on the pedal, and Wichita Wolves just kept dying over and over again. The only man able to fight back was Mo with one single kill. And like you said, Chess Club put themselves on map and match point in swift fashion, looking to do the same now on Dining, a site that they have already successfully attacked twice.
Attackers need to locate and defuse bombs.
Yeah, this one is a tough choice for the Wolves because they can't go Barring Games, but they can go any of the other 3 sites on the map. They've only won Barring Games. They haven't been able to win any other of the sites, so they could try Kitchen and Dining for the 3rd time, or they could go back to Master, try Snowmobile and Wine, which I really wish we saw from them, but we don't, and so it will be Kitchen and Dining for the 3rd time, and maybe this will be the time where they win it. They haven't won it the other 2 attempts, so now is where they've got to make that change. Of course, this is a great site to exploit the issues we've been talking about with Chess Club, right? Their tendency to slow down almost to the point of standing still on these top floor clears. But last time we saw how quickly Chess Club were able to not clear out the top floor, but just open up that dining wall. And once that wall's open, I mean, the options for the defenders just shrink down tenfold. You then have to focus more on when that execute is coming in, maybe rotating one of those defenders on the top floor, bringing him all the way downstairs to the basement to prep that C4. A lot of adjustments you've got to make when an attacking team is able to make the early progress, even if that early progress is not on the top floor. So it seems that Chess Club have a similar idea. They're going to work their way in library and see what control they can get right off the bat.
In the building with only 40 seconds gone, shooting out the default cam, and Gunner is making his presence known. His first target might be Reed and Piano. He's dueling with Freak behind this shield by the black half wall. There's not a lot in the attacker's way here, save barbed wire and a couple ADSs protecting the shield. Bills, though, deviating from the team. Mr. B already up short, dealing damage to Barring, and the second wall is not covered by the Electro Claw. There is a jammer, I believe, so Mr. B can't quite get it just yet, but there goes the nade. Mr. B can now put that exothermic charge wherever he wants. He'll end up opening it here in very fast time. 1:35 still left on the clock. I mean, they haven't cleared upstairs, but they forced the defenders back enough, and as Bills gets the opening onto Reed, this might be what Chess Club are looking for to start pushing in on the site, finally with, more than 30 seconds in the round.
Yeah, Freak's got to be careful. Gets naded here, and now the Gemini clone comes in, but Freak doesn't care. He'll step up and take Snake's life. Bills will fall, barring, I believe, a flank from behind to get that done. And now, yes, Mr. B opens up the office wall from above, but there is nobody actively staffing that angle. No real point to opening up the wall if there's nobody actually holding that angle. Maybe the Wolves will back on off and play more passively. Actually, they're going to get cut down on the site. They're going to reposition right into Gunner's waiting arms. Freak up above can't do anything. Barring gets cut down as he works his way back to the site. It is all on the shoulders of the Mozzie to keep the Wolves alive. Plant going down here from Mr. B. Freak has no intel, no idea where to look. He can't even take the first gunfight successfully. Chess Club take the quarterfinal in 3 maps, and they will be moving on to the semis. The Wichita Wolves, they're done.
We didn't even need overtime for this map. It is a 7-5 win for Chess Club, completely avoiding the stall out in that last round, not looking stagnant at all. They take in from Office, sure. They lose a couple picks to that retake from Barring and Freak, but at the end of the day, getting that opening on the site they were looking for onto Mo, and Gunner just, I don't know where Gunner even came from. Whether he walks through the breach or just dropped through the hatch. Either way.
Short, I think. Yeah.
Was that it? Yeah, because he just materialized in the dining doorway to kitchen, and I mean, he almost single-handedly opened the round and won it for Chess Club. That was massive from Gunner. Hands, I don't know what I'm trying to say. Hands down. Yeah, massive play for Gunner, hands down. And Chess Club eliminate Wichita Wolves. A result that after the first map, I was not expecting. I don't even know what I thought after Clubhouse. Like, well, we were saying, yes, Chalet, more aggressive map, leans into Chess Club's favor, blah, 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 blah. I still thought maybe Wichita Wolves would have a chance, but while it was close, still 7-5 is no score to scoff at. It still looked like it was in Chess Club's favor, through and through.
I don't know about through and through, but it certainly looked like there were moments where they did seem to outshine the Wolves. But it did feel like a back and forth series. I mean, we saw it starting on Oregon, it was all Wolves, and then you go to Clubhouse, it's all Chess Club, and then in the end, we've got this back and forth battle. But here on Chalet, it was back and forth the whole time. It wasn't like one team had an advantage, the other team clawed it back. It was a dead heat just until one team could finally move ahead and take the win. The better attacking team on on Chalet tends to win it. And yeah, it was Chess Club here tonight. Neither team could attack bar in games, but Chess Club managed to successfully attack every other bomb site that Wichita could possibly throw at them. You can take a look at your stats here, and you see Bills to step up in such a big way is great, because Bills was, a little bit more quiet on the other maps. Gunner and Snake were putting in the majority of the work, but it's Bills who steps up, goes 14-9, positive on the entry, strong 83% cost. Really, really solid stuff.
Meanwhile, like we saw in Clubhouse for a majority of that map, or for the majority of Clubhouse, same thing we see on Chalet. 12-9 for Barring, but he is the only member of his team positive. And on a map not only up against Chess Club like we highlighted on Clubhouse, but especially a map like Chalet, that is simply not going to be enough. And unlike Clubhouse, we see Chess Club through and through winning the entry battle. That is an 8-4 in total in the favor of Chess Club, more than double the entry picks. And the reason why I say Chalet still kind of felt like a Chess Club map through and through is because, yes, while the points were back and forth, a lot of the rounds that Wichita Wolves won were coming down to 1v1s, 1v2s, a lot more down to the wire, whereas Chess Club had a lot more, 3 men up, or 3 men remaining and up when it comes to points. But either way, congrats to Chess Club. It took 3 maps. You and I said, if this was, if either of the series tonight is going to go to 3 maps, it was going to be this one. But we've got an interview now with the head honcho when it comes to Chess Club, the Grandmaster himself. It's Gunner.
Hello.
Sean.
Hello. I was tweeting.
It's okay. So I voted against you guys against Gasher. I made sure not to make the same mistake against the Wolves. You had me nervous after map 1.
Yeah,
you had me nervous after map 1.
I was a little nervous too.
But, what do you think was the biggest issue with Oregon? Because it seemed like you guys just could not stop dying first.
We were just being really impatient. Just like, we just thought like we didn't have enough time for this and we didn't have enough time for that. We were just trying to like work something, and I don't know. It just wasn't like, I don't know, we just weren't feeling it. It was just one of those things. Freak was just hitting crazy shots, just kind of just bullying us. But like, we took that map and we realized like, it's okay to slow down. We had a lot better drone work on the other maps, and it kind of propelled us.
Yeah, when it comes to Clubhouse, that was a much more back and forth map. Again, you had me worried when Wichita Wolves was able to come back into overtime. What was the big thing that they changed about their play that almost let them win the map?
I don't know. Like, on the first couple of defenses, like, we were just kind of winning our gunfights, but the last 3, when we were up 6-3, it was just first pick after first pick for them. And we didn't have enough bodies on site half the round. And it was just, we almost would bring it back and then we would lose. Once bring it back, we'd lose. But
okay,
I'm on my MJ shit. I'm 7-7, SMG 11, 3v5. Like, I'm not losing those guys.
That was impressive at the end there. Despite Barring kind of just looking the wrong way and expose himself to the breach. Yeah, that was a little questionable. I'm not gonna lie.
When someone has an LMG for an entire game, makes them look good, and then you see that, and it kind of lost them the whole game. So that's just suck.
And then, flashing back to Oregon as well, something that Jonah and I were wondering: why opt to start attack first?
On what?
Oregon.
Start on a nice attack, shock their mentals. Didn't really go as planned, but
yeah. I get the idea though. And then at what point did you guys kind of say like, all right, like this series is ours?
When we got the Chalet.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. It makes sense considering your playstyle as well. Was there something specific you were looking out for towards Wichita Wolves heading on to map 3?
No, we had no idea if they were good on that map or not. We kind of just like didn't want to go coastline because we played it twice, and like I know those dudes are like writing crap down. Like, I just didn't want to play against that. So I was like, you know what? We're not gonna go to map 3. So we took Chalet. We went to map 3. But I mean, luckily they weren't really. We were just good on it today.
Yeah, I mean, hey, I love the confidence, and I mean, you and Snake in particular were kind of the big players through maps 1 and 2. Snake almost single-handedly carried you guys through another. I think he dropped what, 19?
Yeah, like 19 on club.
On club, and nearly lost. Nearly lost it, but I mean, you guys still came back on Chalet. We had Bills kind of step up. Up until that point on Clubhouse, what do you think was the biggest thing stopping everyone else from your team from being big contributors?
I mean, on Clubhouse, Snake was quite literally running around and killing everyone before I could see anyone. Like, that stint that he had, guy dead here, guy dead, yeah, guy dead. Like, I'm cash. I'm just chilling inside with SMG11, making holes in the floor because I'm bored.
Oh yeah, when he was in secret.
It's a magical 3K. It's just one of those things.
Yeah.
Like, you just don't see anybody. Like, that guy's just killing everyone.
I see. That definitely makes sense. I'm glad to see people like Bills and Mr. B step up on Chalet as well. But Gunnar, you make it to the semifinals. You guys play tomorrow. I don't remember who you play.
We play Newers.
Oh yeah, you play DV. Oh, you versus Newers. That'll be fun.
Yeah.
Sean, congratulations on making semifinals. As always. Actually, better run than you had last stage, right?
Okay, man. Like, last stage was chalked. My teammate went...
Last stage,
Never mind. My teammate, dude, left.
Yeah, well, that's all I'll say. But very happy to see you guys, make it further now. Perhaps a finals run. We'll see if you can take it over Newers. By the way, the haircut looks great.
Thanks,
and
man.
Sean, we will see you play again tomorrow. And hopefully you find further success.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
You too.
Always good to hear from Gunnar, who did put up some pretty good numbers on Clubhouse, by the way. But yes, it was Snake who put in what felt like the majority of the work on all of the maps. That is 43 kills, 10 kills clear of the nearest player, who is Freak, 11 kills clear of Barring. Really, really good stuff from him.
Yeah, I mean, Snake was just... I don't even know what to say. It was nuclear. Incredible from Snake. I mean, it seemed like every other round we were saying Snake was making a big play. Now, he kind of took a little bit more of a backseat on Chalet. Wasn't completely forward, but was still playing well. I mean, he still went 11-8 on Chalet. I mean, 43 kills. That's what? Like a 14 KP kills per map average. Slightly above that because 43 isn't evenly divisible by 3. 9 and 4 on entry as well. If we can talk about Freak too, Freak was while he is even, the fact that he has 33 kills and is 9 and 1 on entry.
9 and 1 is insane.
9 and 1, a +8 differential. Barring still being positive as well. Those two were doing a lot. Jay had an incredible couple maps as well, but unfortunately, I mean, again, just wasn't enough. Just wasn't enough, I would say, consistent firepower from Wichita Wolves to take it over Snake and Gunnar and the gang.
And I know they're kicking themselves for Clubhouse because Chalet, right?
Definitely.
Gunnar said it, that when they went to Chalet, Gunnar and the team, they felt comfortable. Chess Club, excuse me, they knew what they were doing, right? But Clubhouse, there were so many moments where it seemed like, or not so many, but towards the end of that map, that last round especially, it looked like the Wolves could win it. It looked like they were about to win it. It was like a 4v3 on site, and things just collapsed. Here you can take a look at our playoff bracket now that we are almost complete through our quarterfinals. One of our semifinals confirmed. It is Dallas Vendetta versus Chess Club. That match is going to be amazing to watch. I mean, Dallas Vendetta has really come into their own as of late. They've become a force. Chess Club, we saw them tonight. They had their kinks and issues to work out at the start of the night, but at their peak form at the end, they really did look incredibly strong. And we've only got one more quarterfinal to decide which are these 4 teams in the semis. It is One Shot versus Team Mystic, which we've got coming up next.
Have to get aggressive. Reed's looking for it, and Hill got it.
Have to push for the kill. Have to kill the Malinski.
Transfers on 1 on 3. What a